This is the Big O Show. 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 This is the Big O Show.
There's no need to drive around South Florida wasting valuable time looking for a new or certified pre-owned Acura. Go to the #1 volume sales dealership in the Southeast United States. Craig Zinn's Acura of Pembroke Pines. Purchase with pace and space in a dealership tailored to your needs. From home buying to providing that personal touch. Contact the 2020 Satisfaction Award winner Craig Zinn's Acura of Pembroke Pines. 888-776-5123. That's 888-776-5123. Or visit them at 15601 Pines Boulevard in Pembroke Pines.
Welton Rayom has more than 62 years of litigation experience handling insurance disputes. They're committed to resolving even the toughest insurance claims quickly. Call them for a free consultation. 954-966-4646. At Welton Rayom, they don't get paid unless you win. Property damage claims to your home, business, or condo as a result of a hurricane. Welton Rayom can help. Water, mold, fire, smoke damage, Welton Rayom can help. Call 954-966-4646.
If you're a Miami sports fan, then there's only one store to go to, and that's Caneswear at Miami Fanwear in Davie. They're your one-stop shop for all your inner Miami CF, Canes, Dolphins, Panthers, and Marlins merchandise. They have hats, t-shirts, game day jerseys, and so much more. Located at 2511 South University Drive in Davie, and open 24/7 online at caneswear.com or innermiamiwear.com. Call them at 954-835-5597. Caneswear, the spot where Inner Miami and all Miami sports fans shop.
Why is it that you get locked out in the worst moments of your life?
Where are my car keys?
Man, I can't find my house keys.
In those frustrating moments, you need a locksmith you can count on. A. Lenny Locksmiths in South Florida, from Miami to Port St. Lucie. In Central Florida, A. Lenny locks it down in Orlando and Tampa Bay. Lockouts or lock changes for home or business. Car key replacements and programming all model cars. 24-hour service. Call them at 855-869-5625. Go to the website at alennylocksmith.com.
Oh, great. You have a doorbell camera. Now you have a front row seat to your house getting robbed.
They're breaking into my house!
Ooh, there goes the TV. I'm sure it'll turn up at the pawn shop.
No, not the TV!
Just because you can see them, that doesn't mean you can stop them. With Slogans, you get 24-hour monitoring, a free home security system, and professional installation. Plus, free doorbell camera, one that'll actually work for you.
Get out of my house!
Get out of the house! Call 1-800-ALARM-ME.
The viewpoint, statements, or beliefs expressed on the following program by the host, guests, or callers are not necessarily the opinions of FantasyAccess.com, Media Group Inc. ownership, management, sponsors, or website. When it comes to South Florida sports teams, very few in the media have witnessed, lived, and covered it like the Big O. Let's start the program dedicated to your favorite South Florida teams with a passion that's unmatched. The Big O Radio Show is on. Here's the Big O.
It's a Friday. It's a Friday. We're out here at Craig Zinn's Acura of Pembroke, Pans. Yes, sir. Finest dealership in the business. 13 years hanging out with the boys out here at Craig Zinn's Acura Pembroke Pines. Yes, sir. It's a big day today also because the Seaman is running the show. Sean is overlooking, of course. He's cracking the whip to make sure. So the pressure's on the Seaman today, putting the show together since we're expanding and going to be adding some stuff and everything. So looking forward to all of that. Welcome aboard. If you are in the area, come on by and say hi at 15601 Pines Boulevard, just off of I-75 and Pines. We'll be out here hanging out for a couple of hours. Ira Winderman is going to stop by at 10:30. We'll have Manny Navarro at 11, and Cameron Wolf will join us at 12:30. So got a loaded show for you. Got a lot of things to talk about on Le Programme. I see the chat board's already getting filled up there. Jamie Zorrilla was first out in San Jose. How about that? Beautiful Friday morning. Time to get ready for the weekend and some Dolphins football. Yes, sir. Question is, what are we going to see, right? Because you're going to see some starters, but you're probably going to see a lot of the backups. It's almost like it's just survival right now is the way a lot of these NFL teams are handling the preseason. It's just let's get through it healthy, and then we'll work through everything else in the regular season. And, you know, those days of truly getting the kinks out in the preseason and in training camp where you have 2 or 3 a days and you're hitting constantly and there used to be tackling and all of that, you had such a good feel for your team by the time you were done with preseason because you had done a lot of football, a lot of hitting. And in today's game, you don't do any real hitting and there's zero tackling. That's why it's sloppy when it comes to tackling. That's why they're not sharp when it comes to the physical part of the game. And it's an adjustment that the teams have to make within the season now. It's almost like a portion of the preseason has rolled over into the regular season now because you don't get a good feel. I've told you guys a story many times when I'm covering the team like 15, 20 years ago, and they hit and they have 2 a days and all that. And I could come out of it and say, hey, they're going to run this year. Hey, they can't run the ball. But you already knew that. Right now, you don't know. You know? You're only going to go off of what you've seen the last 2 years, which wasn't good. So you would assume that you'll see some of the same again. And then you're hoping that Teron Armstead and Connor Williams will, you know, we'll have people on the chat board that'll come in and slam Austin Jackson like it's the same Austin Jackson from the last 2 years. But if you watch him now, it's a little different. Now, we'll wait to the game and we'll find out. He looks like a much better player right now. But again, we won't get a feel for all of this until we get to the regular season. And what they're trying to do is get some playing time for guys, try to get them better, but also try to get them safe through the preseason and try to suffer as little injuries as possible because it could alter your season if you start losing important players during this time. And coaches know their jobs are on the line like never before. You know, 25, 35, 45, 55 years ago, they had more patience. They gave coaches time. And if they lost a player or two that were really key guys in the offseason, they gave them the benefit of the doubt. Nowadays, you're not getting the benefit of any doubt whatsoever now. So as a coach, you got to, I need my best players healthy to start the season. Yeah, I'm not going to play X a lot. I don't need to play X a lot. I'll play X when we get to the regular season. That's when I need X because he's going to keep my job for me. You know, Teron Armstead, I could give him some reps, but I don't want to overdo it because that's the kind of guy that can help me keep my job. So let me keep him safe. And that's the frustrating part about preseason now that you're not really seeing enough. That's the frustrating part about training camp. You're not seeing enough right now, which in the end doesn't give you the proper assessment of your football team. You don't really know deep down inside how good or how bad they could actually be because there's not enough of a litmus test for you to measure it at this point in time. But, what are you going to do? We'll see what we see on Saturday. I'm sure you'll see some of the linemen. I'm sure you'll see Alec Ingold. I'm sure you'll see maybe a little Gesicki if they're trying to showcase him a little bit more. But I don't know if you're going to see Tua. Not exactly sure. That one might, and the way he's played, you probably don't need to see him anymore. You probably have seen enough. And if you know that Philadelphia isn't going to play a lot of their guys, that's, it doesn't become a great test for him overall. And Waddle, I would imagine, is not going to play. He has not practiced all week. He's only done the limited stuff, none of the teams. So they're saving him for the regular season. So we'll find out. At least we'll get to see some of the key backups, some of the fringe players that are trying to make the roster. And I think that's what we're going to have to live with. The Kader Kohu, to see what kind of progress. Will he do enough to convince you to be on the roster? Cameron Good probably will get a lot of shine in this game because you want to find out, can this young linebacker actually, is he worthy of a roster spot or is he practice squad material? Braylon Sanders, kind of a borderline guy. Well, do we keep Craycraft as our sixth guy? Do we go with Moss? Do we go with Braylon Sanders? And I was doing the list of the players to make on the team, and when you start looking at some of the positions, Craycraft, I said Moss, I meant Bowden. Craycraft, Bowden, and Sanders are probably battling for that sixth spot, or they're either going to get cut or sent to the practice squad. So Sanders is practice squad material. Lynn Bowden Jr. can be practice squad material. I don't believe Craycraft can. But if they don't keep a six, one of those guys or two of them could be try to snuck on to, they could try to sneak them onto the practice squad. At running back, Chase, Mostert, Sony, and Ingold made the roster. Zaquandre White and Jared Dokes, practice squad material. On tight ends, you're probably keeping Four and Smythe, Long, Carter, and Gesicki. Tanner Connor, you're going to try to swing over to the practice squad. On the offensive line, Armstead, obviously, Connor, Austin Jackson, Hunt, Eichenberg, Dieter, Kinley, and Jones. Those are your 8. Do you go 9? Do you go Coleman? Do you go Blaze Andries? Do you go Kellen Dreesch? Now, Andries and Dreesch and Coleman, you can probably sneak onto the practice squad or try. Blaze is the guy that's kind of interesting out of those guys, believe it or not. Defensive ends, Agba, Porter Gustin, linemen, Raekwon Davis, Christian Wilkins, Zach Sealer, Jenkins. Linebackers, Phillips, Roberts, Tyndall, Van Ginkel, Baker, Ingram, Good, and Riley. Those are 8. I've got Good making the team. I think if you try to sneak him onto the practice squad, you will lose him. Somebody will take him because he's very versatile. You can use him on the D-line as a pass rusher, and you can use him as a linebacker. So I kind of like, and he helps out on special teams. I really like his versatility, and I like the way Duke Riley has developed, too, as a backup linebacker. Safeties, Jones, Holland, Rowe, and is Campbell your 4th guy? And do you then put Vernon McKinley onto the practice squad? Cornerbacks, Xavier Howard, Byron Jones, Iggy, Crossan, Kohu. That's 5 right there. Obviously, Morstead, Sanders, Ferguson. It's about 50 guys. You can add 3 more to what I'm talking about there. So there's still some room to add a couple of guys at different positions, or they swing the practice squad. And that's going to be the interesting part about who makes it on this roster. So we shall see what we shall see. Devin Jordan, thank you for a little love on the super chat. He says, Big O, Trey Lance didn't look too good last night. The 49ers pick looks like it's going to be a top 10 pick. I'm the Trey Lance experiment is going to be really interesting. Wait till you get to the regular season when they're scheming and he's got to go up against first teamers and all that. Did you see Brian Flores as quarterback? I wasn't impressed either with Jordan Love. Threw an interception and everything, went 16 of 26, 148 yards, and an interception. I'll tell you what, I have been incredibly impressed. And when we start with Andy Behrens and Scott Pianowski in September, as they join us for fantasy football, Tyler Goodson better be a sleeper player for you at fantasy. That's all I'm saying. That kid, he's good, man. He does it all. What a preseason Tyler Goodson has had. That is one guy that if you're looking for, a handcuff that could be, something in Green Bay, that's the kid right there. That's the handcuff that you better watch out for. We already started to include a little fantasy talk already in there. Haven't even started on the season yet. Anyway, gotta love that. Anyway, but thank you, Devin. As always, I appreciate you. Thanks for the love on Super Chat as always. Ray Sosa from a Northerner's viewpoint boundary of San Francisco is West Palm Beach. Probably not accurate. You mean of South Florida? You mean not San Francisco? Since you said Northerner. Yes, I would say Palm Beach is probably South Florida. I don't think. Port St. Lucie and Martin County, they're considered, I believe it's the Gold Coast, right? I think that's called the Gold Coast. Or is that called the Treasure Coast? It's South Florida, then it's Treasure Coast, Gold Coast, or is it Gold Coast, Treasure Coast? I forgot. But I want to say that Palm Beach is in South Florida, technically. And then when you get up to the next one, I think it's either the Treasure Coast or the Gold Coast. I forgot. I always get those confused, dude. But I know one follows the other. We've got two guys searching it right now. But yeah, I think it is Treasure Coast. Palm Beach and St. Lucie County are Treasure Coast. So we don't even consider Palm Beach South Florida anymore. So it's Broward. It ends at Broward. That's where it ends. Yeah, Broward. Okay. All right. So Palm Beach, you're not included in South Florida anymore. So it is Treasure Coast, then Gold Coast. Okay. All right. So yeah, Cocoa Beach and Melbourne and all that is the Gold Coast, I would imagine. All right. Well, Brooklyn Rob says no, Palm Beach is still South Florida. Yeah, but he's reading something different there, Rob.
Internet doesn't lie, Rob.
That's right. The internet doesn't lie, Rob. Don't you know that by now, Rob? Huh? The internet doesn't lie. Gold Coast is West Side. So that's what I'm getting confused. Thank you, Hunter Butler. I'm an idiot. What do you want me to do, bro? I'm a moron. Oh well. I'm confusing all the coasts. All right. So what? It says Gold Coast is Palm Beach and what?
It says Gold Coast. The Gold Coast consists of Palm Beach, Broward, and Miami-Dade counties.
Okay. All right.
I don't think anyone knows the coast.
Yeah. I'm sorry. I just confused this whole damn thing by coming up with all this.
The Gold Coast will consist of the towns of Hollandale, Hollywood, Pompano Beach, Fort Lauderdale, Dania, Deerfield, Boca Raton, Delray Beach, Boynton Beach, Jupiter, and the Palm Beaches.
Okay, so they determined that's the Gold Coast. Okay. All right. Do we have a Gold Coast committee? Do we have a Treasure Coast committee? Is it like a group of people that get together and they say, well, no, We're going to start in the border here. This is our Gold Coast. No, but this is our Treasure Coast. No, but this is our South Florida. So we have a South Florida committee?
South Florida right now. It might just be Miami now.
Yeah, exactly.
Miami and Keys.
No, I don't think. I don't even think the Keys are considered South Florida.
It is.
Oh, it is? It is? So it's the Keys and Dade County, South Florida now? Is that what that's considered South Florida now? Or Broward? Okay, so Keys, so Monroe, Dade, and Broward is South Florida. I don't know. This is crazy. This is just confusing as hell. This is just confusing as hell. If Palm Beach is not South Florida, no more donations for Sean.
Palm Beach, welcome back.
What was that, Sean?
Palm Beach, welcome back.
There you go. Tua Time says, hey, Sean, I thought your Squared Circle show was on last night. Was waiting to hear your rant on AEW. What days does it come on? Tua Time wants to know, bro. He's slamming the mat.
To a time it will be on tonight. I had family obligations last night, but usually it is Tuesday and Thursday, so I apologize.
Yeah, for some reason he puts family in front of wrestling. I don't know what that is. I mean, that's just wrong on every level. I mean, you don't put family in front of wrestling. You chokehold that bitch and put it in the back.
That gets people in trouble.
Oh, I love it. I love it. I love it. All right. So there you go. So you will have some wrestling. And we're working on a Kane show, too, that's coming your way, too. Weekly Kane show. So we adding some stuff. Such a dumb argument, isn't it, Port Knox? It's an incredibly stupid argument. Right up our alley. Right up our alley. Hey, Big O, isn't Cocoa Beach the Space Coast? Yeah, that's right. Isn't Cocoa Beach the Space Coast? That's right, but that's like a limited coast. You know, the Gold Coast, the Treasure Coast, the South Florida area, those are big areas. Now, Space Coast, it's Cape Canaveral, Cocoa Beach, that's it. That's all. I got both guys looking now up for Space Coast. No, but it's got to be Cape Canaveral and Cocoa Beach. I love, by the way, Cocoa Beach. By the way, Cocoa Beach, super cool place to hang out. Satellite beaches, too? I like Cocoa Beach. Cocoa Beach is really cool place to hang out, man.
I know nothing about Space Coast, but I know everything about Space Ghost Coast to Coast.
Space Ghost Coast to Coast?
Yeah, it was a show on Adult Swim back in the day.
Okay. Oh, can you see Mike G converting to wide receiver? No. He'll be a tight end, and he will get moved somewhere. If not, he'll sign a contract at the end of the year, and they'll get a compensatory pick for it. That's probably what will happen, my brother. But I don't think they're going to move him to wide receiver. Even the wide receivers have to block on the team. Everybody's got a block on this offense. It's just one of those requirements that they want you to block also. Everyone. Because everybody helps in the running game. And while it's cliche-ish at times, in some offenses, they literally take it to heart. And they say, you got to block. If you don't block, you're not going to help us all the time because you're not running a route all the time. Sometimes you're running to take a body and get it out of the way. And we require you to do that. And so if Mike Gesicki cannot become a second level blocker, at least, I'm not asking you to ever maul people at the line. That's not Gesicki's game. But the guys on the secondary level, they're smaller than you. You got to be able to handle them. And I don't know. But I just don't. They're loaded at wide receiver. So you would create a problem in a place where you've already got a glut. And you spent money on Cedric Wilson, on Tyreek Hill, and you've got Waddle. And then look at Azukama, how he's developed. So making Gesicki another wide receiver, there's not enough footballs for that. So he either plays tight end here or he gets traded to another team to play tight end somewhere else, or he plays out the year here and then he gets traded by the deadline, or at the end of the year, he walks away and you hope you get a compensatory pick when he signs a big contract somewhere else. And Brett Dodger does correct me. It's not wrestling, it's wrestling. All right, go ahead.
It's pro wrestling.
Pro wrestling.
And also, yesterday after you left,
your
buddy came by, Mr. Calibro.
Oh, yes.
And we got into an hour-long conversation about Mike Gesicki.
Oh, okay.
And next week, he wants to sit down with you and discuss Mike Gesicki. So there's going to be a full segment next week when we're at Hialeah Park Casino of you and Steve Calibro discussing Mike Gesicki.
Okay.
Because I've put him on you, and I've heard it all, so I'm going to hear it all again. But
yeah, because
it is very interesting.
Isn't he a Jersey kid too, Gesicki?
From his hometown.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah,
okay,
yeah.
I figured that.
Yeah.
All right, so I'm going to deal with the blind ass fan alert, right? Is that what it says? Okay.
Every time he talks, instead of beeping him, we'll just put
the blind ass fan alert. Yeah, I can tell. Yeah. It's just, when you switch coaches and you switch schemes, that this is what happens, unfortunately. And the smart coaches, the smart front offices, the smart swimmer doesn't swim against the current. You don't walk up, with the escalator going downward and you're trying to go up. That's kind of backwards. That's a lot of work for nothing. You can go take the escalator, it's taking you up, and you're fine. You don't have to go against the grain. And that's what happens when you try to put a square peg in a round hole. And the smart coaches and the smart front offices, if you've changed schemes, you've got to change the player. If the player does not fit the scheme, don't force the square peg in the round hole, because it's usually not going to work. Because the player is who he is. He fits this scheme, not that scheme. And it's really that simple. And by the way, that's what makes great coaches what they are. They look at a player, they see their skill set, they understand where they excel at and where they don't. And then they say, well, you fit here. You don't fit here. You don't fit on this team. We've got to move you to another team. And then you're so smart as a coach in the front office, you're calling the kind of offense or defense from another team that his skill set fits. And because they know his skill set fits. You're not going to call another team that runs your kind of offense because he won't fit here, he won't fit there. So that's an asinine conversation, and you're insulting the other side. You're going to go find the places that he does fit, that they don't require blocking tight ends. Then you call. That's what smart front offices and coaches do. In every transitional year, you're going to have players that are no longer going to fit the system you're in, and they could be good players, like Mike Gesicki, who's a hell of a player. I love Mike Gesicki. Tough dude. Forget about the blocking stuff. I'm talking about the guy will play in pain. The guy will make tough catches. The guy is fearless. He's a tough-ass dude. And he just is not the kind of tight end they need in this system right now. But, man, he can make it to the Pro Bowl on another team that his skill sets fit. And that's just the way it is. There are some linemen that can only play in a man-on-man scheme because they don't have the athleticism to play in a zone and start pulling and moving and all those kind of things. They got to stay in a phone booth. That's how they got to play. It's the only way they know how to play. But if you get that guy and you try to make him a zone player and he can't move, that's your fault for drafting God, what's his name? Jamar Fletcher, who's a zone corner, and you play press. That's not a smart front office. That's not a smart coach. That's not a smart assessment of a player that you're watching. and you go, yeah, no, he can fit on a man-on-man scheme. No, he cannot. And by the way, Jamar Fletcher left the Dolphins and played like 7, 8, 9 more years. Why? Because he was a rotational zone corner. So these are, and I'm not comparing the two players, by the way. Jamar Fletcher is, even as a corner, that he became a serviceable backup in a zone, he never, ever became the player that Gesicki is. But unfortunately, Gesicki doesn't fit this. So this is what you got to do. And luckily, it's not 5 or 6 or 7 of them that don't fit. It's really only one big problem for them right now. And they've got to move it. And eventually they will. And it sucks. But this is not the first time this has happened in the history of the NFL. It's happened a crap ton of times. All right, if you want to get in on the program, 855-912-1056. That's 855-912-1056. If you want to get in on the program, you can also reach out to us on Twitter. That's at Big O Show. And folks, let's talk a little bit about Babbel, all right? And a lot of times, some of you, you want to learn a new language, and maybe some of you want to learn a little Spanish. You want to get to know some of the chicas here in town, And so why don't you reach out for a little Babbel? Maybe you want to learn some French. Maybe you want to learn a little German. Maybe you're going to travel to Italy and you want to learn some Italian. It's a beautiful thing. Babbel, by the way, is the language learning app that has sold more than 10 million subscriptions. They're addictively fun and easy way to learn a new language. And whether you're traveling abroad like I was talking about, connecting in a deeper way with family, or you just got some free time, Babbel will teach you bite-sized language lessons that you'll actually use in real life. You go to those lame-ass ones, dame un lápiz. Like, come on, dude, when are you really going to go ask for a pen? No, we're not doing that. Babbel's 15-minute lessons make it the perfect way to learn a new language on the go, so you can be in your car, you can be walking, you can be jogging, you can be doing weights. Other language learning apps use AI for their lesson plans, but Babbel's lesson plans were created with over 100 language experts. That is amazing. Their teaching methods have been scientifically proven to be effective, and with Babbel, you can choose 14 different languages, including Spanish, French, Italian, German. Plus, Babbel's speech recognition technology helps you improve your pronunciation and your accent, and there's so many ways to learn with Babbel. In addition to the lessons, by the way, you can access the podcast, the games, the videos, the stories, and even live classes, which is so cool. And it comes with a 20-day money-back guarantee. So start learning the new language right now. Get on that journey with Babbel right now. Save up to 60% on your subscription. Go to Babbel.com/Big O. That's Babbel.com/Big O. Save up to 60% on your prescription. Learn a new life. Babbel, language for life. Right. All right, Devin Jordan again. Big O, you got to play the Rich Eisen audio clip with Sharp where he talks about Tua. Well, I can't play that because then we'll get tagged for that, right? I'm sure we will, but I'll check it out. I know that Eisen is a Tua guy. I know that. I don't know about Sharp. Anyway, I know who is always sharp. Ira Winderman is always sharp. Yes, sir. It is time to talk a little basketball. We got some basketball in the news. And let's go with our Craig Zins, Acura of Pembroke Pines, Miami Heat, and NBA report.
Heat fans, time for the best insight of your favorite team with insider Ira Winderman, exclusively on the Big O Radio Show. It's the Acura of Pembroke Pines, Miami Heat, and NBA report. Here's Ira Winderman.
All right, there he is, the man, the myth, the legend that is Ira Winderman. How you feeling, my man? You feeling good?
I'm feeling good. It's funny, Big O. It's almost like without having to pay for it, Craig Zinn winds up with Kevin Durant as a spokesman simply because every week, twice a week in our Acura Pembroke Pines report, we wind up in a situation where we're talking about Kevin Durant. Maybe that stops for a while, but I think this has worked out well for all parties involved. So you know what? If Kevin Durant can help us sell a few more Acuras, all the better.
Oh, God, but it felt like Willie Williams. It felt like, what's that other guy we talked about for months? Oh, J.C. Treader recently. You know, I hate when we do this in sports, man, and I've been doing this for a long time, and we talk about a guy, and then we find out he's not available, not tradable, retiring, whatever, or he's an idiot, like the Willie Williams situation that for months we were on one side, oh, no, give him a chance. Give him his 87th chance. On the other side, no, he's a knucklehead. Don't give him a chance or whatever. And we wasted our time because he was a waste of time.
This is different. This is different, though,
the same shit for J.C. Treader for 2 months. We need a center. Go get J.C. Treader. J.C. Treader says, I'm retiring.
Yeah.
And no, let's trade for Durant. Let's wait for Durant. No, they're not. Durant's not going anywhere. I'm just saying, it's different scenarios. But it's just frustrating over the years.
It might be, Big O, but I'm actually going to take people lit into your world. I know, and matter of fact, I've dealt with this because I actually sat in a few shows with you at QAM. I know you love to do your own show. But I'm sure there's a dream co-host that right now, whether it's your own company, whether you're working for the soccer team back at QAM, if someone would have told you, Big O, you can pick anyone in the world. We're going to do a one-time offer. Who would you like to be a co-host? Just throw me a name real quickly.
Sean Salisbury.
Okay, Sean Salisbury, and I love when you did your segments with him. I love what he does on radio now. He certainly is.
There's no hesitation.
Okay.
I would love to work with Sean.
So here's the deal, Big O. If you were told by whomever, one of your sponsors now, hey, I'm going to hold out on a football spot, but if you get Sean Salisbury, I will pay whatever it takes. Let's be honest, Big O. You would wait. You would wait for something special. That's all the Heat does. And so I'm kind of, I guess I could use this.
No. Hey, listen. No, I understand the Heat side. I'm talking selfishly. But you took up a lot of time on my damn show talking about something that wasn't. This is all selfish, my brother. This has nothing to do with
and I get that.
Of Miami. This has nothing to do with the Dolphins. This has nothing to do with the Heat. This has all to do with Orlando Alzagari, who wasted a shit ton of time talking about something that was never going to happen.
I want to talk about Orlando Alzagari's chat board on the other side of the screen here at YouTube for this reason. When you see the comments, it's the Heat failed with Durant. It's the Heat failed with Hayward. It's the Heat failed with anyone they don't get. Big O, to be a player, to be in the game, to try to make something work, you have to risk it. You know what this is to me? I'll give you the perfect example.
I hate that. Wait a minute. They did not fail with Durant the first go around because they never had a chance. They just got an interview with him. They didn't fail this time. I heard somebody say that too. They failed. They didn't fail. The guy was never available. So what the hell? How can you know what, Big O? It's not available.
You know what I'm going to say about this? You know when you run the videos, we see the videos of the guys who get dunked on. And I'm like, whoa, he got schooled, he got shown up. You know what? The guy had the fortitude and the balls to stand in there in the paint and to try to make a defensive play. And that's what Pat Riley has, is this franchise has testicles. And they're going to stand in there, even if at the end of the day someone goes, oh, they missed out on another one. They didn't get this guy. They didn't get that guy. That's what you have to do. So sometimes you take the dunk. Sometimes you get posterized. Now you're saying, oh, the Miami Heat offseason, they didn't get X, Y, and Z. But they were in the game for X, Y, and Z. Yes, you might consider getting dunked on the ultimate failure. Or you might say, what about the time you got the block? What about the time you made the rejection? What about the time you made the guy throw it off the rim? So, and I always get this from the Heat. A lot of times I'll get, you know the people, Tim Donovan, the people in the PR staff, they're like, hey, this whole thing about how we failed to get X, Y, and Z. We were in there. We were willing. We were talking. And that's what happens. Look at Jimmy Butler. The Heat were in with Jimmy Butler. Remember Big O in Minnesota when Tom Thibodeau called them out when he was coaching there? You know, how we're not going to play their games, and Pat Riley went back at him. But they were there. And then they waited for Jimmy Butler when he was in Philadelphia. And then Dwayne had his retirement game, and they were there again, and then they closed the deal. All last season, trading deadline. I was on with the Big O. Matter of fact, it was right here in our Acura Pembroke Pines report, and we spoke about how the Heat failed to get Kyle Lowry at the trading deadline 2 seasons ago. But then in the offseason, they landed him. You plant the seeds. I'm not saying Kevin Durant's going to come free again, but you know what? Kevin Durant will have his name in the news every year because the guy is never happy. So unless you see a parade down Atlantic Boulevard and Flatbush Avenue sometime this June. We'll probably be right back with Kevin Durant next summer. And Craig Zinn will welcome Kevin Durant at any time down at Pembroke Pines, not only to sell quality new cars, but quality used vehicles, also pre-owned, I think is the way we phrase it these days in the car game. And we'll talk about Kevin Durant twice a week on Monday and Fridays in the Acura Pembroke Pines Report. You know what? Good. The Miami Heat are in the game. They're always in the freaking game. And that's why it was so nice in recent years to see a team like the Florida Panthers be in the game. You might not have loved the Bobrovsky move, but they got themselves a goaltender.
Right,
you might not love the Huberto Tkachuk move, but they got themselves one of the top 5 players.
Jorge Mas, you may not like Matuidi, you may not the Higuain, you may not like Pizarro, but bro, they spent the money and they
make your plays.
They built the stadium, and guess what? Now they got rid of those guys, and they went and got Coco, and they went and got Pozuelo, and
they said, screw the salary cap, we'll overspend, we're going to try to get this thing off the ground. And then you have the other team in town, where when anyone becomes good, they just go away. And even when they get the occasional Sterling Marte or something, it's only for a rental, and we all know that. And that's the difference. So again, this whole casting of the Heat off season is a failure. No. Did they make tangible gains forward personnel-wise on the 14-player roster? Sure, we can argue that, Big O. But Big O, if I have the potential of Victor Oladipo in training camp for the first time in 3 years, if I have the growth potential of a 22-year-old Tyler Hero, if I have a Max Strus who just needs to take one more step and the possibility of Duncan Robinson regaining a step, there is so much growth potential here on this roster that you don't see in a lot of. Matter of fact, I'm going to go this far out. I believe there are Heat players who have greater growth potential than what the Knicks spent over $100 million in Jalen Brunson. I think that's a guy who very well might have maximized himself out with the Dallas Mavericks. Typical Knicks will pay for Stoudemire, will pay for Randall, will pay for anyone else's second choice and overspend. So let's step back a little bit, because you know what? If the Miami Heat's greatest gain this offseason was a Victor Oladipo who can retain his previous form, I'll put that up against Malcolm Brogdon. I'll put that up against Danilo Gallinari. I'll put that up against DeJounte Murray. So you got to wait. And I know it's tough because it's August and we want immediate results. But you know what? Now you have closure on Kevin Durant. We'll talk about Donovan Mitchell a little, and you move on. Because the one thing about the Heat, and this is not like a paid advertisement here, but the one thing about the Heat is they don't stop. They will always be looking. They will always be trying. That's the way it is. That's not being a homer or a Heat person or whatever. That's just the reality, and it's proven by more than a quarter century of Pat Riley's oversight. Sorry, Big O.
It's all good. It's all good. And by the way, we're out here at Craig Zinn's Acura Pembroke Pines. Come on out and check out the 2023 Integra $369 a month, that lease feature. So come on out here and check it out. Ira, so we go over the Durant stuff, Donovan Mitchell, doesn't look like that all is going to happen. That's fine. And with Mitchell, the amount of picks and stuff that they want.
Yes.
That's Knicks.
You know what? And you were probably listening when I was on with Kurt Heelan on our redrecover.com Inside the Paint. And I said the same thing. And I kept going to Kurt from NBCSports.com and Pro Basketball Talk is, I'm fine if you want to swap out Tyler Hero for Donovan Mitchell. I'm good with that. You try something new. But how much sweetener do you keep putting in? Remember, I asked Kurt, would you put in a first-round pick? He's, yeah. I go, would you put in 2 first-round picks? He was a little sideways, but he said the Heat picks are never good. Maybe. And I said, would you throw in Yurtseven? And he paused. And I said, would you throw in Strus? And he paused more. How much more sweetener? In other words, if Donovan Mitchell is better than Tyler Hero, if you're of that thought, and you can be, is he 1 first-round pick better? Is he 2 first-round picks better?
Right. That's exactly where it gets ridiculous, that he's not that much better, that you're not going to start weakening your team for one player. That just doesn't make any sense. So my question is, I want Miles Turner now then.
Yes.
This is what I want on the Christmas list.
Now, so do the Lakers.
Talk about it. I want Miles Turner, and then I want John Collins. One of those 2 guys. First Turner, because I really believe he can maximize here. Plus, I know Riley. He loves his long-ass players.
Shot blockers.
So, yeah. And he can cover a lot of ground, too. That's the other thing with him. When you put him and Bam on the floor, oh, my God. The things that you're going to be able to do and how the offense is going to be a lot better. And plus, he can stretch. So you can finally have a big man next to Bam that can stretch. So all those kind of things. So what do we hear about Miles Turner?
You know what? It's not good for this reason. The Lakers, after they made their move for Patrick Beverley the other day, turned their attention to Indiana. The Pacers don't necessarily want to bring back Turner because he's extension eligible after this season. They're going to have to give him a crap ton of money. They're rebuilding. They're starting all over. That's why they got rid of Brogdon. That's why they got rid of Sabonis last season. So the Lakers can offer a pair of first-round picks, 2027, 2029. The Heat can offer a pair of first-round picks as soon as 23 or else 27, 29 also. But here's the deal, and I spoke about this with Kurt Heelan on a redrecover.com Inside the Paint show, is Heat draft picks are never very good. Since 2008, when they got Beasley at number 2, only time I can really recall them truly tanking, their best pick was Justice Winslow at number 10. Otherwise, Tyler Hero and Bam Adebayo went 13 and 14, mid-level picks.
I know where you're going.
The Lakers, when the Lakers suck, can really suck. We remember the post-Shaq era, the post-Kobe era, they were garbage. So if you're Indiana, you're saying, okay, 2 future unprotected picks from the Heat, we're probably going to get a bunch of number 15 draft picks. Sort of dime a dozen guys tend to be career backups, Hero and Adebayo the exception. Or we can get the Lakers when they're again garbage, when the Clippers with their new arena have taken over LA and become the it team because of Ballmer's money. It's the better play. It's simply the better play. It's like Big O. If I told you on the draft board, you can get 2 number 1 picks from a perennial NFL contender, or else you can get them from the Jets.
But do you swing sending a player on top of the picks that that the Lakers can't?
Right. And you can give them a player that the Heat can, and I understand that, but the player the Heat would have to throw in, unless you're throwing in Tyler Hero in that deal?
Oof. Yeah, I might throw Tyler Hero. I might throw Tyler Hero in the
minimum it's going to take.
Now that I'm thinking about it, I can replace him with some of the guys. Yeah, with Oladipo on the team, and remember, Caleb is still there. I love Caleb.
Vincent. Sure.
Yeah, and Gabe Vincent. So I can replace his points, but I add a dimension that I don't have in Miles Turner. Yeah, I'm making the Tyler and 2 first-rounders. Yes.
And again, with the Pacers having Halliburton and having a young backcourt, I don't know.
The 27, 29, I'm not giving him 23 and Tyler.
Well, I mean, that's the thing. You're protecting the moment, because Lowry and Butler were older. You have to protect your moment now.
23 for something else very short.
That's the thing. That's the thing a lot of people have pointed out. The Heat have one big move left, probably for the next 3 years. Those 2 first-round picks, Tyler Hero now before he's extended. We'll get into this more in our future Acura Pembroke Pines reports. So the thing is, how big is big enough? Is a mid-tier move. I consider Miles Turner mid-tier because I don't consider him a perennial all-star.
No.
And again, I spoke to Kurt Heelan about it. Is Tyler Hero a perennial all-star? I don't know that right now, Big O. Pat Riley and Eric Spoelstra and Alex Simon and Andy Ellisberg, they know better than me on their metrics and their projections and whatever Shane Battier might still be sending in. So I get all of that, but they have 1 move left. And so if Durant does become available again, if Mitchell doesn't go to the Knicks, the trading deadline this February, I think, can be particularly volatile because that's when guys will be coming to the end of deals. That's when teams won't have to pay as much for a Westbrook, only half the salary instead of his full salary. Or do you just wait? Do you just say, you know what, we're the freaking Heat and we'll win games because we win games. And we'll get to February and we can size up the market. That's when we can put Tyler in play. That's when we can put Duncan Robinson's contract in play. I had one reader say, why don't they just trade Robinson's contract in the first for Jay Crowder, who I like a lot. But Robinson is your trade ballast. He's the $16 to $18 million you put into match salaries of these players earning in the $20 million. So that's the thing. Right now, everyone at 601 Biscayne Boulevard knows there's one big move still to be made, probably for the next 2 years. Because here's the deal. If you don't trade a Hero and you bring in a Turner somehow with a Duncan Robinson and 2 first-round picks, so let's look at it this way. You have Bam on a long-term deal, lots of money. You have Jimmy on a long-term deal, still 4 more years left, lots of money. You will be extending Tyler Hero, lots of money. And you will have to do a new contract with a Miles Turner, lots of money. Now, if you're content that's your best possible roster, hey, go for it and say the next 4 years, this is your Miami Heat. You can actually buy these guys jerseys because they're staying here. or you say to yourself, because you have this big old harpoon, and by the way, Pat Riley in the wetsuit, not a sight to be seen as much anymore, but Pat Riley's holding his harpoon there, and he's waiting for the biggest of the big. That's what you have to decide, Big O. Is it time to move and go time, or do you say to yourself, there's bigger fish out there?
I see. I don't know if there's a bigger fish at the moment out there, because obviously the big fishes now have been put away, and the other one's kind of unrealistic. But see, Pat Riley doesn't have a lot of time left, so he's not going to sit here and wait.
Don't phrase it that way.
I don't think he's going to wait 3 years for another move.
Okay.
Is my point.
I thought you were killing him off. Okay.
I'm not killing him off. I'm saying I know him. He doesn't wait.
Right.
So he lives in the moment. You've said it yourself a billion times. So I think you got to make that Miles Turner move. And then if there's something else down the line, then you figure out another way to make another move, because somehow or another, they always figure out another way on how to make a move. But for now, you know what the landscape is. You know others got better. How are you going to get better at least? I think you have to get better with Miles Turner, because you need some help in the interior, and he's a stretch 4 or 5, whatever you want to play him at. And he's a guy that's a dimension that you just don't have on this team right now until you can develop it with Yurtseven, and he's not ready to do that. And by the way, if Yurtseven does develop down the line with Turner, oh my God, that'll be a lot of fun if Yurtseven can.
And if Yurtseven develops down the line somewhere else, oh my God, the one who got away, and that's what you have to weigh. That's why it's interesting. When people talk about the +1, throw one more in, and I know this is tired already, and I talked to Big O about the Shaq trade and Caron Butler. I'm not going to go back there, but when you throw your +1 in there, you have to weigh what that player could be. So in some ways, I might prefer to make my +1 a Vincent or a Strus, who are contributing more now because they might level off. But you throw a Yurtseven in there, and all of a sudden, 2-3 years down the road, everyone's going the unstoppable Turkish big man. Dirk Nowitzki is hitting his threes, and you're in trouble. So I think that's part of it also. I think you hit on a really good name there in Yurtseven. He could be a lot of your answers, or he could be a Hassan Whiteside-like flash in the pan. That's what you have to weigh right now when you're talking about these ancillary moves. To your other analogy, because Pat Riley's the godfather, he's going to slow play it anyway. He's just not going to walk up to you and plug you. He's going to send Sonny out on the boat. He's going to take care of it quietly, just like the Sopranos are a big pussy. They take care of it quietly, away from the scenes. So just because you don't hear the bluster, just because Ira Winderman is not yelling quite as loud, don't kid yourself. It's still not quiet at 601 Biscayne. They're always looking for the next big thing.
All right, I could say maybe Yurtseven may not end up becoming as good as we think he is. But let's not label him Whiteside, because he has there's no resemblance in the character of Whiteside.
And I get all that, but you have to weigh where something's going to be 2-3 years down the road when you offer that kind of contract. And right now, Hassan Whiteside is a free agent and out of work. So you have to have perspective on what someone could be or might not be.
No, yeah, definitely. He's just, I don't want to label him to that knucklehead. That's the only difference. By the way, were you anywhere near the Miami airport with Torian Prince the other night?
You know what? I wasn't. And I actually read Andy Slater's report, and then I saw what it was reported for, a controlled substance of significance. If that's the case, I know a lot of people are sort of playing it down also as just another thing, but how crazy is it, Big O? You have that incident. I spoke to Kurt Heelan. I'm a Montrezl Harrell fan. I think he could help the Heat at the 4, but apparently he had bushels of something that most people don't require that large of a copious quantity in Kentucky. He's still awaiting his court case. So you sort of have a lot of things up in the air now. But you know what? It's the NBA.
Yeah. How about the Chet Holmgren story? You feel for the Thunder.
But you know what? It could have happened in any workout anywhere. We saw Bam in the Miami Pro League. So you tell Bam, don't go out. Don't court Donovan Mitchell in that game.
I just feel terrible for the kid, because he needs that year of seasoning and all of that. And this just sets him back a little bit in his career. And obviously it's a shame for the Thunder fans. They're going through enough stuff, with the turnover of the team. I don't blame him for playing or anything. This is just terrible luck. I just feel bad for the kid and the organization.
There's a history of guys who've missed a year. Joel Embiid missed a year. He's great. Blake Griffin missed his first year. That might have helped him acclimate to his NBA body to be great. Knowing Sam Presti's probably going, another lottery pick. This isn't so bad.
Right.
And then Holmgren will come around. He'll have a year off his rookie contract. He'll be able to build up that body in the interim, which is not such a bad thing also. The one thing I'll say about is this. I'm always surprised when guys are playing these kind of games and they don't have NBA level trainers right there on site. And I think if the NBA is going to allow, whether it's the Miami Pro League, guys working out with Stan Remy or whatever, I think it's in a team's best interest to go, 6 of my guys are going down to Miami High today or something like that, or Johnson and Wales. I'm going to send over my assistant trainer just in case. I think NBA teams would be smart to do that. So in the moment.
Is that a league CBA thing that needs to be worked
out?
Well,
There are certain approved pro-ams you can play in that the league says they're up to our medical and court standards. There are some you can't. Players play in anyway. And then players, if they're injured, can lose their entire contract. But I'd like to see the National Basketball Trainers Association. I know those guys want weeks off, but to put people in those spots. So you have an NBA level medical personnel there on the scene to diagnose right away and maybe even to preempt something like that.
Drew League, is that approved?
That's totally approved also. The big ones, the big ones are, but I think you need to take it to a next level when it comes to trainers.
Okay, interesting. That's a very interesting story. Liz Frank injury, man. But you can come back from it.
Udonis Haslem had one, played for years after, sat out the second part. I think that was in 2008, and wasn't the same player, was injured early in that year. It's about a full year. But if you're a veteran, you can push through, you can get back. No reason for Chet Holmgren to do that.
Yeah, I remember the Eric Rhett was never the same again after his Liz Frank injury. Back in the day, it was a devastating injury. Now they have figured it out, and you can,
as with a lot of these, absolutely.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, no doubt about it. All right, what are you working on the Sun Sentinel so Heat fans can check you out, my friend?
Couple of things. Obviously, I posted my Ask Ira today already because I'm very curious. They're trying to develop Omer Yurtseven. Can they develop Omer Yurtseven and Nikola Jovic at the same time? And what I found interesting is the Heat signed a couple of NBA veterans, Jared Harper and Chink Diallo, for their G League team. I think they're trying to build a developmental program where if they send Jovic up there, he'll be around NBA talent so we can work on that. So I am curious, the dual development programs, while you're also trying to win, how much can you do at the same time? I think that'll be interesting. And my Sunday column, wrote it today, posted tomorrow, sunsentinel.com and Sunday's paper at your doorstep. Your favorite thing, how I think the Brooklyn Nets are going to be freaking great. And right now they're the best team in the Eastern Conference. And I'm sure I'll get plenty of blowback from you on Monday on our next Acura of Pembroke Pines report.
And by the way, with Jovic, if you think he's not going to the G League, then these kind of extra workouts are imperative for his growth and his development, actually. I don't know if I stole any thunder from your article, but from the conversations that we've had. Now, one more thing before I let you go. Dougie Fresh has a very important question for you. If stuck in a Russian prison and had to choose from one, who would you pick to set you free? 1, Rodman. 2, Meta World Peace. 3, Latrell Sprewell.
I think Latrell Sprewell had a moment, but might be the most level-headed of them all. And I give the former Ron Artest all kinds of credit for the therapy he's gone through. And I think he's become a different person. When I saw the Dennis Rodman story, I remember that whole North Korean fiasco and how he dragged several former NBA players who had no idea what they were getting into. And then literally were almost fearful for their lives. They may never get out of North Korea. So I'd say in that order, I'm going to go Sprewell 1, Meta World Peace, whatever his last name is now 2, and a distant 50th. I don't care who else you throw in there, would be Dennis Rodman. If I was Brittany Griner, I didn't need to see that. If I was
going to end up in the jail cell next to her.
Yes, if I was the U.S. State Department, I didn't need to see that. But you know what? I think the saying is Rodman's going to Rodman.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. Plus, I'm with you. I'd pick Latrell because if Putin says no, Latrell will choke his ass out until he says yes. Boom. So that's what happens there.
PJ Carlissimo has never sounded the same, and I'll leave it at that.
Follow him on Twitter at Ira Heatbeat and catch his work at the South Florida Sun Sentinel. Better yet, subscribe to the exceptional paper that is the South Florida Sun Sentinel. Ira, have a fantastic weekend. We'll catch up on Monday.
And people go out there and buy some cars from Big O. He'll show you some quality product. Catch you Monday, Big O.
You got it. There you go, Ira. Thank you very much. We got a fleet of certified pre-owned vehicles out here, right here in front of me. They look like they're brand new. We got new cars out here. Come on out. Check it out at 15601 Pines Boulevard, just off of I-75 in Pines, baby. Finest dealership in the business. Craig Zinn's Acura of Pembroke Pines.
You've been listening to the Acura of Pembroke Pines Miami Heat and NBA Report with Ira Winderman. When you're looking for award-winning service and great deals from the #1 volume Acura sales dealership in the Southeast United States, you go to Craig Zinn Acura of Pembroke Pines at 15601 Pines Boulevard in Pembroke Pines.
Yes, it's a beautiful thing. All right. So it's at Bitcoin's at 21,400. Kind of the same. It went up, went down, kind of same. I don't know. I don't think we're going to really be exploding at any time soon. So it's a good consolidation time. I don't know what the Fed said. I haven't looked because I know he started talking at 10 o'clock. So I have no idea what the Feds are saying and how what's it called? What are they going to do with the rates? I have not heard yet, but I don't see a ton of red, so I guess it hasn't been too bearish. You see, it's a little red, but not much. Not too bad. I don't know. We'll see. Is it Pembroke or Pembroke? Oh, Pembroke Pines. He said that controlling inflation is going to cause pain to the American people. Well, yeah, of course. You're inducing it yourself, dude. So if the jobs are strong, why do we keep raising the rates? I don't know. That one kind of is baffling to me a little bit. Can we? Because I think it's more about supply chain issue and gas and stuff like that. That's really. And then we add this, makes it even worse, I think, actually. I don't know. I'm not smart enough. I'm not an economist, but who knows, man. This is why I'm so pro Bitcoin, man. Because governments all over the world are just effing up our money and the value of our money. And so it's just terrible. What can I tell you? Let's see. Because the economy is not strong, the job market is strong because millions left the job market. Well, yeah, but those millions that left, that's their choice, bro. I can't help you. If you can live without money, God bless you, brother. If you can live without working, more power to you. I don't know how people do it. But what are you going to do? What do we have here on Le Programme? How's your Miami Dolphins doing this morning? They're doing fantastic, Jesse Johnson. My Miami Dolphins are doing fantastic. Back to football, subscribe, join our chat. There you go. Yes, that's right. If you're watching, please subscribe to the program. There you go. Help us get to 20. We want to get to 25,000 on this platform here. We're approaching 14. Let's get to 25. Okay, we want to make a big ass push to a 25,000 mark. And don't forget our second channel, which I will be broadcasting live from tomorrow, Big O Show Cuts. Please subscribe to that, okay? And we need to get that one to 1,000. We have 724 subscribers. Search Big O Show Cuts. You'll see it. It'll come out. It'll say Big O Radio Show Cuts. And we're going to add crypto and music segments to this. So when I go to concerts, I'm going to give you music reviews. If I hear a new album, I'm going to go over it, talk a little bit about it. If there's some breaking news, maybe I'll chime in. So you have to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you can catch it. It won't be on this one. This one's going to be straight up sports and other sports programming that we're adding to this. But on the other side, on this other one, Sean puts up some of the videos that don't make it on this channel. They go on the other channel, some interviews and things like that. And then I'm going to add the crypto and the music talk, and Saturday shows will go on Big O Show Cuts. So there you go. Not the pre and post game shows and all that stuff. That's all on the regular channel. But tomorrow I'll do a little Saturday show at noon, and it'll be on Big O Show Cuts. All right. It's already set up and everything to go for tomorrow at noon. Won't be a long show, but we'll have a little fun with that. All right. So please subscribe to Big O Show Cuts. I just refreshed it. One of you did. It went to 725. Ready to go? All right. Hour number 2 is ready to go. And Manny Navarro and our Canes Wear Miami Hurricanes report starts.
If you're a Miami sports fan, then there's only one store to go to, and that's Caneswear at Miami Fanwear in Davie. They're your one-stop shop for all your inner Miami CF, Canes, Dolphins, Panthers, and Marlins merchandise. They have hats, t-shirts, game day jerseys, and so much more. Located at 2511 South University Drive in Davie, and open 24/7 online at caneswear.com or innermiamiwear.com. Call them at 954-835-5597. Caneswear, the spot where inner Miami and all Miami sports fans shop.
Sports Grill on Bird Road, Miami Lakes, and their newest location in Doral is now hiring. If you're looking to join a great company and South Florida institution, give them a ring or drop an email. Sports Grill is hiring all kinds of positions from hostess to servers, bartenders, or join the kitchen staff to craft some great food for their amazing customers. Please send your resume to m.cruz@sportsgrillmiami.com or call 305-219-5726. That's 305-219-5726. Sports Grill. Good food, good drink, good friends.
Red Recover now offers a simple-to-use, professional-grade light therapy device designed to help your dog heal and live a healthier life. Red Recover emits red and infrared light therapy based on the same science that NASA developed, all in a soft, flexible housing pad powered by a convenient, rechargeable lithium-ion battery. Give your dog the same therapy that many veterinarians use today, but at a fraction of the cost. Pads are available in 3 sizes and come with attachment straps, clips, and an easy-to-use manual. Red Recover can help your dog with arthritic conditions, muscle soreness, intervertebral disc disease, ACL rehabilitation, performance, aging, and general health and happiness. You simply place the pad over the desired area and allow our proprietary Tri-Light therapeutic wrap to penetrate deep into the tissue where a number of healing parameters will be stimulated. When starting treatment, apply for 10 to 15 minutes daily and lessen the application time as needed for best results. Say yes to science and give your dog the care it deserves with Red Recover.
If you're a Miami sports fan, then there's only one store to go to, and that's Caneswear at Miami Fanwear in Davie. They're your one-stop shop for all your inner Miami CF, Canes, Dolphins, Panthers, and Marlins merchandise. They have hats, t-shirts, game day jerseys, and so much more. Located at 2511 South University Drive in Davie, and open 24/7 online at caneswear.com or innermiamiwear.com. Call them at 954-835-5597. Caneswear, the spot where inner Miami and all Miami sports fans shop.
The viewpoint statements or beliefs expressed on the following program by the host, guests, or callers are not necessarily the opinions of FantasyXS.com, Media Group Inc. ownership, management, sponsors, or website. Time for Canes fans to get what they want. Information, insight, and perspective. It's the Canes Wear Miami Hurricanes Report with Manny Navarro, exclusively on the Big O Radio Show. Here's Big O and insider Manny Navarro.
There he is, ready to go. Manny Navarro, how you feeling, baby? You feeling good? It's the weekend.
Yeah, man. It's we're getting 7-8 days away now from this kickoff. So finally something to write about that I can see. That's always a good thing.
Yeah, no, I mean that's the frustrating part about all of this. That it nothing against Mario. We hope Mario does well. We love it and all that, but I don't want to hear from coaches what's good and what's not and all that, because I hate to say it, you're all liars. Mm-hmm. Every coach in the world's a liar, because there's no way you're going to stand there and tell people brutally what's really going on, what you're really liking and what you're not liking. And that's why you need objective eyes And that's the sad part about college football. That is it like that everywhere? Do they allow you to practice anywhere in college football?
Yeah, I mean, there's some schools that open it up that aren't afraid to let people watch a little bit more. But for the most part, I mean, it just depends on the school. Our Notre Dame writer, for instance, right? He got a chance to watch an entire practice and sort of write down all the details, everything that he saw.
A practice, or does he watch practice often?
Well, no, he I think it's been a couple times now where he's been able to actually watch practice. But for the most part,
did that go on with Brian Kelly?
No, I think it all depends on the head coach. It all depends on the regime, right, and what they want to let out. Now, a lot of this,
Brian Kelly only allowed his family to watch practice.
Family. Yeah, so I don't know, man. Like, it just depends on the school, but I think for the most part, the big time program shut everything down. They don't want to let anybody see anything, because what happens is, it's a determination of who do you let in, right? And the moment you let a bunch of reporters in, if they want to sit there and turn around and report everything they see, it's the control factor. And nowadays,
wait a minute, but you can't have the agreement that you used to have in the past.
Well, there's a good gentleman's agreement, right? That usually the professional journalists do. But think about how much
you get booted out if you don't do it, and you're not allowed back in. Why can you do that?
The problem is that everybody's allowed it now. Okay, I mean, you get all these little websites, these bloggers, these guys that have YouTube pages, and God bless them. It's a free country. You're allowed to do what you want, but they don't differentiate traditional media, the people who actually go to school to study journalism and have to earn these jobs, waiting their turn, so to speak, to get these opportunities, from the guys who create their own webcast.
Oh, but here's where I would say, well, you also got to earn the trust of the franchise or the program,
right?
So or your tenure. Hey, you just showed up with a blog. Well, that's fine, bro. We'll talk to you in a couple years that you've talked. Okay, we'll give you a credential now. Okay, now you've been on the beat for a couple of years. Okay, we're going to give you some access to practice.
Right.
Okay, and then we're going to see how you handle it, because you can't talk or report about practice. The second you do, you're booted out, and you'll cover from afar like everybody else, and you're done, because the guy that is at, or woman that's at the Athletic, is going to follow the rules. The woman or the man that's in the Miami Herald is going to follow the effing rules, because you got to. It's almost like, see, the problem is the bloggers or the YouTubers, they have nobody to answer to. See, you do, because you not only pissed the team off, now you got to answer to your editor. And your editor is actually going to be even more pissed off than the team is, because you just effed the entire place up to access. So to me, that's how I would do it with them. You're a new entity, fine. You get put in this thing, and we'll test you. You'll cover the team. We see you do it the right way, fine. Then the next move, and then the next move, and then that's it. And then when you're in practice, you earn the right to be there as long as you don't report anything. The second stuff like that gets out, that's it. You lost it.
Listen, no argument for me. I mean, when I've covered the Dolphins, back when I worked for the Herald, when I went out there, I knew there were certain rules, right? You can't report about certain injuries. You can't report about certain things that you see in terms of formations, right? And plays that people are running. There's a respect factor. But the problem with the collegiate level now, is, again, they'll let anybody into practice. Parents, right? Agents, NIL agents are there. They turn around and they start talking, and they'll have their own podcast or their own show and start. So at some point, it comes down to the university, and it comes down to how they want to run things. So that's ultimately why we get shut out. And in the end, look, the fans don't give a shit. I mean, the bottom line is the fans just want the information. So wherever it comes from, whether it's a message board, some guy who was at practice running his mouth, or somebody going on a Twitter space, it leaks, and Mario doesn't like it, but it is what it is, dude. You got to kind of deal with what the world you live in. And I get from the college perspective too, is, whoever can help them recruit these kids, right? Like when you have recruits on campus, or to keep kids around, if it's going to make them happy to have their agents or their parents or their uncle or their cousin, whoever's there watching, that's going to turn around and report everything online or say things online, that's something they're willing to live with. But the media, us, we're the bad guys. We're not allowed in.
You're the bad guy. Say goodnight to the bad guy.
That's right.
All right. Stadium. What's the latest on stadium talk with Mr. Ruin?
Well, listen, he's bless him. He's pouring money into these designs, right, and trying to figure out these renderings to see how beautiful he can make Tropical Park, and that's great. But I'm not saying it's not real. I'm not saying he's not putting in the work that he needs to behind the scenes to try to make this a reality. My thing is, until I hear somebody from the state or the county or the city or whoever it is, that regulates this, that this is a possibility, that they're willing to sell that land. We're living in fantasy land right now because it's just not happening yet. There's nothing concrete
well, if they're
happening yet.
smart, they're not selling the land; they're leasing the land.
Whatever it is that they got to do, sell, lease, rent, all that kind of stuff. Until we have those conversations, and until I hear something from the university, to be quite honest with you, I mean, this is as much as he wants to build there. And again, I appreciate Ruiz. He's a visionary. He wants to build an area there that is more than a football stadium. He wants it to be used for a lot of different things. And he's putting his own money into this, right? It's great, but until I hear something concrete from the other side, it's hard for me to sit here and speculate on what's going to happen.
No, I know. It's just it's funny to hear and see the renderings and all that.
Mm-hmm.
I love it, man. It's freaking awesome.
It is great
if you're able to pull it off, and it also puts a stadium inside the city of Miami. So maybe events also, not just the football, but I don't mind having a nice concert just a couple miles away from my house, man. Again, it's all about me, it's convenience for me. I can go see the Canes right down the street from my house. Mr. Ruiz, I love you, brother. Make more convenience for me.
Yes. And I will say this though. I mean, look, I think Dan Radakovich said on the radio this week, the athletic director, their season ticket sales are up 6,000. I think they're up to 35,000 now total season tickets, which is good. It's good for the school. Those are good numbers. But the bottom line is, you look at college football on Saturdays, and we're going to start seeing it this Saturday, right? With some of these games.
Yep.
Those stadiums are packed with students every single game.
Yeah.
It's because it's on campus. It's close by.
Yeah, but this is not that. We're a pro type town for the Canes.
And the reality is, though,
it's not students that's going to fill that stadium up. It's going to be people that live in South Florida, period.
Sure. And people who come in from out of state. But my whole thing
very
here is
small student base that they have, dude. They got a bunch of people from outside of this country that don't give a shit about what's going on in any of their sports, dude. Please go walk that campus. Half the people aren't even from America. Come on, man.
My counter to all this though is that as much money as Miami's spending right now on football, and they've invested a lot, right? They're this coaching staff, the new indoor facilities that they're building, the expansion of the IPF, all the things that they're going to do, which is going to cost well into the hundreds of millions of dollars here. It's great. It's going to help the program and the school long term. But Rudy Fernandez has been pretty clear. They got to be able to pay their bills eventually. They got to fill that stadium up. There's got to be 50, 60,000 people there every week. And they'll sell 45,000 tickets, but how many people will actually be there? Oh, and that's a problem. You need a presence. You need a home crowd. And Mario obviously has to go out and deliver wins, and they gotta win games that they haven't won in the past and get to important bowl games and playoffs and all those. I get it. But at some point, if the fan base doesn't show up because they like watching games at home, which we know that's what we like to do here in Miami, right? We don't want to be out in that heat.
Oh, I mean, they come out to the Dolphins, and the Dolphins suck.
Right. Well, but it's not the same. It's not the same with the Canes. It's not. It's not the same with the Canes.
Well, but see, the difference is, I don't know why the Dolphin fan stayed aboard, but the Cane fan did not.
Right. And I think the Dolphins fans have more money. To be honest with you, I think they're a little wealthier. They can afford going out there tailgating. Maybe. I think it's a little bit of a richer crowd.
Maybe you might be right. I never thought about that. I never thought about it that way, but I think that the University of Miami has had, they've been so mediocre for so long.
So have the Dolphins.
I know, but the Dolphin crowd stays there. I don't know why, but the Dolphin crowd has been incredibly loyal, and they stay. But that has not happened with the Canes. And the only way you're going to keep a fan base at that stadium, you got to win, bro. You got to win. You got to entertain the crap out of people, and they haven't done that in a long, long, long time. And I think that's been the problem because they're not the Dolphins. Okay, that's just the bottom line.
I would also venture to
they're
say
not the Dolphins. The Canes are not the Dolphins. The Dolphins have the kind of love that the Heat will never have. They can win a shitload more of championships. Because they'll never have the loyalty. The second the Heat has 5-7 years of sorriness like the Dolphins, that arena will empty out completely because that's the way this town is. I don't know what it is about the Dolphins, but they get love that no other team gets in this town. The Canes have to earn it, and they have to earn it every year, and they're going to have to be really good. And that's Mario's job. That's the only way they're going to pack that stadium up and even get the fair weather people to show up for FAMU.
I would venture to say that, even when the Orange Bowl was when they were winning, I mean, the Orange Bowl, there were a lot of weekends where there were 30,000 people there for Rutgers and Temple and everything else.
Yeah.
But Miami needs to do something. I do think there is a financial barrier because when you pay to go to a Dolphins game, you're paying a lot more than you are for a Hurricanes game.
Yeah.
Okay. And those season tickets, etc. I mean, that costs a lot of money.
Yeah, dude. Yeah.
It's a different experience. I think part of what the Hurricanes have to do is they've got to bring the fans closer to these players a little bit, make it a little bit more fan friendly, fan interactive. I heard some complaints.
You have no practices open,
right? Canes Fest.
You do nothing, dude. You're secretive about every goddamn thing, and so you never find out about anything until we get to the season.
I heard some complaints regarding Canes Fest that fans just weren't happy that they got a chance to get autographs, but there really was no fan experience, like nothing. Where they felt engaged, they wanted to come and hear from Mario. There was no Mario speech. It's very corporate. It's very in and out. You pay for your ticket or whatever to get an autograph, take a photo, and then you're out of there. Yeah. I don't know. I don't know what the secret is. I don't know if it's fan buses, right, that leave that take you to the park every Saturday. You make it more of a complete experience. But I do think there is a financial. I mean, the fans that go to Dolphins games and Hurricanes are two different levels of people.
Manny, in the last 6 months, I broadcasted from a Dolphins bar in Tortugas, right by Daytona, in New York City, in Manhattan, and one in Las Vegas.
Right.
The Dolphin love is just something that is worldwide. It is, and no other team in this town comes close to having that kind of love. No matter what, it's like your dog. It's unconditional, bro.
Right.
We're dogs, and
it's like the Cubs, right?
Yeah, dude. Yeah, and we unconditionally love the Dolphins no matter what. We show up, we buy the tickets, we go to practices, we and you know it. You've been a writer for it. You know the hit. You know how it's played. And yet the Canes get their love, but they don't have that kind of love that it's undeniable. No matter what, they're going to pack the stadium. All of that. It's just not the way it is, dude. And
that's why I think. Oh, and I've said this to you before when we've had conversations. That's why I think as much as they're investing right now, I've told you this, they better win because it's not going to last forever. At some point, Rudy Fernandez and the people at the University of Miami who are running that school, as much as they love football and they want to see it succeed now, right? That they've paid off the hospital bills, they've got some money to burn, they're investing. 4 or 5 years, bro. I think this thing comes to an end if they don't see some results.
Guaranteed. There's no doubt about it. They're not going to keep spending the money if there's no production, and the only way
the fans don't show
money back, and the only way they're going to get their money back is by winning big so they can get to big bowl games and they can sell a boatload of merchandise. And that's the only way they're going to get their money back. But you're right. They have to win. Hey, listen, you and I have talked about this. As much as I like Mario, I will be brutally honest. What he did at Oregon is not good enough.
Right.
Not good enough here in Miami. It's great in Oregon what he did. Those people will love you forever what you did in Oregon. But if you lose twice to Utah here, you will get roasted. Roasted.
Yeah.
Okay?
Pressure's on, baby.
Roasted, toasted, and they'll say you're not the guy. You can't lose to Utah twice here. Over there, you lose to Utah. Oh, we understand, Coach. Had a great year anyway, man. Oh, you're getting guys into the NFL. Fantastic, coach. Oh, what a beautiful uniform. That doesn't fly here, bro. Win.
Yeah.
Win. And the job is not easy for Mario, man. This is a tough job for him. He's got to win like he's never won before.
Yeah, I agree.
That's the crazy part that people don't realize. He's got to do things he's never done before as a coach in order to be fully accepted. Right now, he's loved and he's revered and all that. But if he only wins 9 or 10 games and gets the mediocre bowl games year in and year out, they're all going to then that love will run out and the interest will run out too.
I'm interested to see what happens September 17th, my brother, because they lose that game on the road, which I think most people will say that's what's probably going to happen. Okay, going into that environment, this is a top 10 ranked team. Are these guys honestly ready without any receivers? With one or two guys that can catch the ball consistently, can they go in there and win a big game like that? Probably not. Well, how's the reception going to be from Miami's fan base?
I think you got to keep it competitive somewhat. If you get completely blown out, then people are going to say same old Canes, and that's what's going to happen. It's like, a lot of hype. Mario didn't. I know what's going to happen. I know it, but he's got at least. I mean, I don't expect him to win that game anyway. But if you can make it competitive, I think the average person that's got a brain will say, okay, that's some progress right there. You went to Texas A&M and you made it competitive. A team that has national championship caliber talent. All right, you did a good job. But if you go in there and you get blown out, you're cooked, bro. They're gonna fry you. They're gonna fry you. They're gonna say you're not the guy, and then now you gotta fight the rest of the year to prove that back and all that. So yeah, that's the game we're playing, man. Unfortunately, it's the game we're playing. Health wise, I mean, it is Bethune-Cookman, bro. So it's like, sorry, Bethune-Cookman alumni out there. But you know yourself. So I mean, I don't know. Is it really that big a deal to worry about the health this week?
Well, I mean, there were some tidbits that came out that Mario did talk about yesterday regarding some guys who have been nicked up. Number one, Jalen Knighton, he didn't play in the last scrimmage, but I think they've kind of put bubble wrap on him. He will play in the opener, according to Mario. Donald Chaney, who I've talked to you guys about obviously last week, Mario basically finally told us that it'll probably be weeks, not the whole season for this kid. But maybe a month type of deal before he could potentially return. And that's good to know that you're going to at least get one of those two injured running backs back at some point. So you have a little bit more depth there. And then as far as Zion Nelson is concerned, probably not ready for the opener, which I've been telling you for weeks is probably going to be the case.
Not needed.
So that's it. That's basically the news from the health front.
Okay.
There probably will. I mean, I'm not going to sit here and say and speculate who. I mean, there's always usually suspensions, right? There's always guys at the beginning of the year who have to serve a 1 or 2 game suspension for smoking weed or doing something stupid.
Right.
So I expect that to happen. I expect there'll probably be a couple of suspensions. But in the long run, September 17th is the weekend to wait for. The one that everybody's going to have their eyes on to see how prepared this team is and how much they've improved. But I would say this. My thoughts before camp, I was hoping a receiver would break out from Miami. Somebody would be able to be that consistent receiver threat. Don't think it happened. I was hoping for a linebacker to emerge to be the true number one linebacker. I think Caleb Johnson is that guy. And I was hoping to see better tackling and probably a better defensive line effort. And I think that has definitely lived up to expectations. So from that front, what we needed to see in camp versus what happened, I think the only area you're still concerned about is receiver.
Okay. All right. What are you working on over at The Athletic so folks can check you out, my friend?
Well, I just posted a new article this morning because talent obviously is always important. And that's something Mario is always checking himself up on. And I know this time of year, everybody says, oh,
it's the Nick Nolte article, the blue chips.
The blue chips. Correct. I just posted that this morning, and it's basically the ratio of your roster, right? What percentage of your roster has 4- and 5-star recruits for the people who want to know talent? Well, I did the math for all of the Power 5 teams. And Miami, I think, is somewhere around 13th in terms of talent on the actual roster. 13th behind Michigan, Penn State, and Florida. Those are the 4 teams, the 3 teams in front of them. And then obviously then you go to Clemson, Oregon, Oklahoma, Notre Dame, A&M, Texas, Georgia, Ohio State, and Alabama. Those are all the teams in front of them. So they have enough talent if you go by that measure, right? Does this team have enough talent to win 10, 11 games, win the division?
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah. Yes.
And then, I compared them to everybody else in the Coastal because every year, right, we're sitting here. Oh, well, how could they lose to Duke? Well, here you have the numbers now. Miami's got 40 blue chips on its roster. Duke has 2. Okay. Virginia Tech has 10. Virginia has 7. So if you want to sit there and read about all the talent of these and who's actually doing what, because I sat there and I looked at the top 10 recruits on each roster in a division. To tell you, hey, this is what their most talented players are doing, who's actually starting, who's not doing anything, who's a bust, etc. Then check out the article. It'll teach you a little bit about the Coastal Division and what Miami is up against. Because that's the goal this year, right? Win the Coastal, get to the ACC title game. Well, you've got your talent breakdown there.
Okay. All right. Check it out and subscribe to The Athletic. Support Manny. Follow him on Twitter at Manny_Navarro. And, of course, catch him twice a week here doing his thing with our Caneswear Miami Hurricanes report. Manny, as always, thank you, my brother. Have a fantastic and safe weekend, my friend.
All right, brother. You too. Take care.
You got it. There you go. The great Manny Navarro. Remember, go to Caneswear.com. If you don't live locally and you can't go to 2511 South University Drive in Davie, you can shop online, and over $99, you will get free shipping. Brett and the boys, they know how to get it done. Caneswear, that's the spot where Miami fans shop.
If you're a Miami sports fan, then there's only one store to go to, and that's Caneswear at Miami Fanwear in Davie. They're your one-stop shop for all your inner Miami CS, Canes, Dolphins, Panthers, and Marlins merchandise. They have hats, t-shirts, game day jerseys, and so much more. Located at 2511 South University Drive in Davie, and open 24/7 online at caneswear.com or innermiamiwear.com. Call them at 954-835-5597. Caneswear, the spot where inner Miami and all Miami sports fans shop.
All right. There it is. We thank, of course, the great Manny Navarro and our Caneswear Miami Hurricanes report. Hey, does this ever happen to you? You know, my wife, she likes the chocolate frosted donuts, right? So this has happened to me several times, and it pisses me off. Okay, so it pissed me off so much that I had to, the following time, for the, I don't know, maybe after the 4th or 5th time it's happened to me, I'm making sure now that it never happens to me again. But I'm just wondering if anybody out there likes a chocolate frosted donut. And, you pop into, some of those donut places that have a drive-through. You know the one I'm talking about? Right? That donut place has a drive-thru that people like to get coffee also from. Anyway, I have one close to my house. And so I go to get my wife a chocolate frosted donut. So I asked for a chocolate frosted donut. And I get home and I hand it to my wife. And it has sprinkles on it. And at what effing point did I tell you chocolate frosted donut with sprinkles, asshole? When did I say that? There's a difference between a chocolate frosted donut and a chocolate frosted donut with sprinkles. Okay, the donut's not for me. It's for my wife. She doesn't want the sprinkles. And personally, I agree with her. I don't really want my donut with sprinkles. I want my ice cream with sprinkles. But I get it if some of you want it, but ask for it. Ask for the chocolate frosted donut with sprinkles. The white frosted donut with sprinkles. Whatever, but you ask for the sprinkles. If I just ask for a chocolate frosted donut, don't give me one with sprinkles, asshole. And it's happened to me several times. So now I got to check either the box or the bag. Because it's English. And this happens to me sometimes when I go ask for a chicken sandwich. And I'll go, yeah, I'd like a chicken sandwich with lettuce and tomatoes only. Okay, would you like cheese? I just said plain, lettuce and tomatoes only. And then there are times that I get the sandwich and there's cheese. Bitch, I said lettuce and tomatoes only. Would you like cheese? Only. What part of only is it you don't understand? You moron. Wow. I just, I had to get that off my chest because it's happened to me so many times. So for any of you that work in that donut place that's all over, okay, and somebody asks you for a chocolate frosted donut, they're asking you for a chocolate frosted donut. They're not asking you for one with sprinkles. If they want that, they'll tell you with sprinkles. And if I want the sandwich with cheese, I'll say with cheese. If I don't mention the cheese, it's because I don't want the cheese. You idiot. Jesus. Yeah, I'll get my chicken sandwich with sprinkles, but not with cheese.
Sean said he'll take the sprinkles from you next time.
That's fine. You can peel off the sprinkles if you want. It's ridiculous. And it happens all the time. So if any of you happen to even work at that donut place with a drive-thru that people go get a lot of coffee in, pay attention to what the customer's actually saying. Listen. It's just like baffling to me sometimes. It's English, dude. I know how to speak the language. I know you understand what I'm saying. Follow what I'm saying. Big O, try being a vegan and order food. It gets old, and I try to make it easy. Oh, God. I can't even imagine. Cheese scared the Big O emotionally when he was a child. No, I mean, I have it on my pizza. Once in a while, I'll eat a cheeseburger. I certainly don't want it on my chicken sandwich. I know maybe some of you would want cheese on your chicken sandwich, but I have no interest with cheese on my chicken sandwich. None whatsoever. No. Can't do it. Won't do it. Complain to them and get 2 free donuts. It just, I went yesterday to go get a donut for the wife. And she said, oh, what do you want? I'd like a chocolate frosted donut, but do me a favor. I want a chocolate frosted donut. And she goes, no sprinkles? Yeah, no sprinkles. Exactly. I don't know if somebody went off on her. But I guess when I started to reiterate, she must have run into that same problem because I'm sure other people have run into those same problem. Come on, some of you have never had that. You don't really want the sprinkles. Don't tell me that you just ate it because you ate it. Okay, that's fine. But the woman doesn't like sprinkles on her donut. Don't give me the damn sprinkles. I work at that place, and I will be waiting for the Big O next time. Extra sprinkles. You have to check everything. They don't listen. You are so right. You are so right. Great or good. Lisa Rose says, hence the reason I don't order online and go to the drive-thru. The stuff never gets done right. LOL. Now, and service is the worst it's ever been. Everywhere you go now. Everywhere you go now. I order my burritos at Chipotle with brown rice. Okay? Check this out. So I go. This was like 3 days ago. I get in the line. Guy, okay, I want a burrito. Boom. What rice? Brown, light on the brown rice. So the guy serves half brown rice and half white rice. And then here's the classic. I go, no, I only said light on the brown rice. He goes, no, you said half brown rice, half white rice. Right there, you effed up with me. You're arguing with me now. You're telling me what I said. And I swear to you, I could have. I swear, I swear to you, I really wanted to do this. I wanted to take out my Chipotle app, right? And I wanted to like shove it like right in his face and show it to him because I can show all of my orders, and all of my orders say brown rice. All of them. Not one of them. Watch. Look here. Brown rice. Brown rice. Brown rice. Everything, right? Everything says brown rice, right? I would never say white rice. Ever. And I don't say half brown, half white. But the guy says, no. You said half brown, half white. I said, no, sir. I said light on the brown rice. So the kid then took a complete shit attitude right after that. And when I asked for chicken, he gave me like 8 pieces of chicken and walked out to the back of the store and left it over to the girl to put the condiments, the other condiments, the next table, which is the lettuce and the pico and all that. And I go to the girl, hey, can you put more chicken on that? Because so they don't even teach you to not argue with the customer. The customer's right, and shut up, dude. Don't you run into that also now? That the people that are serving you will they made a mistake, but they want to make it your mistake.
I actually had Chipotle last night, Big O, and I noticed that the bowls, they're smaller portions.
Oh, yeah.
They used to get so many more.
Oh, yeah.
Portions when you went to Chipotle. But I since we're airing grievances on this show right now, I had to get that out there.
Your donuts are smaller? Just go ahead, go check it out, bro. All the portions are smaller to everything and they're charging you more, and the portions are smaller. Oh yeah, yeah. But I love the person that wants to argue with you on what you said. You just say, "Oh, I'm." You're supposed to say to the customer, "Oh, I'm sorry, no problem," and just get rid of the white rice and put the brown rice, and just keep the customer happy and move along. Why do you want to argue with me about brown rice or white rice? I know what I said because I say it I eat at Chipotle almost every other day, practically. Either lunch or dinner, I'll stop it because it's quick. It's pretty healthy overall, So whatever. But it's classic how they argue with you about what you said. The laziness is through the roof in this country, dude. I mean, through the effing roof in this country. Chipotle is notorious now for skimping on the burritos and bowls. A lot of people are off Chipotle now. Yeah, Big O, customer service has been dead. Yep. I would stop right there and walk out. I was hungry, Drago. I was hungry, man. I think I ate in the morning. It was like at 7:30 or 8 or something, and I think that was like 6 in the afternoon, 5:30. It was a long time for my fat ass to go out without food. And so, I fasted for a good enough time. And I said, I need to eat something because I was done for the day. After I ate that burrito, I wasn't eating anything else. And, but it was, I got to tell you, Drago, my ass was hungry, bro. I had to eat. Big O is starting to sound like Michael Douglas in Falling Down. Yeah. Where's my gun? Talking about the people who want $15 an hour. Exactly, right? Yeah, $15 an hour and you don't work? Get the hell out of here. I order ice cream and they automatically gave me whipped cream and a cherry. I didn't ask for it. Brian says, hey, Big O, I'm not a fair weather fan. I used to be an Orlando Hurricanes club. I was there in 97 when we lost to FSU 47-0. But it's what I told Manny. Isn't it impressive that the Dolphins get the love that no other team gets in this town? It is the most unconditional love that you can possibly get. The Dolphins. Nobody gets that. Nobody. Nobody has bars all over the world. It's not just this country, by the way. There are Dolphin bars in other parts of the world. That we had this conversation the other day. As great as the Heat are, and the 3 championships that they've won, and they've been to 6 finals, right? They don't have Heat bars across the country. And the Dolphins haven't won a championship in 50 years, man. 49, whatever, if you want to get technical. But think about that. And yet the loyalty for the Dolphins, Dolphin has the edge right there. Since the Dolphin always brings the edge. More than the Hurricane fan, more than the Heat fan, more than the Panther fan, more than the Marlin fan, more than the Inter fan. Not that Inter should be in this conversation. They're babies. They just got here. But it's amazing. As strong and as passionate as some Hurricanes fans are, there's not nearly as many Dolphin fans. The Heat Nation is strong, not nearly like the Dolphin Nation, not even close. They don't even come in the same stratosphere as the Dolphins. The Canes, the Heat, and you can throw in the rest, the Panthers, Marlins, and Inter, all together doesn't match the passion of the Dolphin Nation. It doesn't even come close. It's impressive as hell. And let me tell you something. If they figure this shit out now and start to win, oh my God. Can you imagine what's going to happen with the Dolphin craze? And think about this. If they win with Tua, oh my God. Oh, Lordy. It'll become the power that you've never sensed before in your life for South Florida sports all over the world. That's why I always talk about this platform that we are for the South Florida fan all over the world. Not just the people here in our town, because we got a ton of fans around the world that love the Heat and the Panthers and the Canes and, of course, the Dolphins. But it is crazy how the passion for the Dolphins, it's undeniable and it is unmatched by any of the other fan bases in town. It's funny. How come that Dolphin fan base hasn't rolled over to have the same passion for the Heat? And they're the ones winning lately. How come that Dolphin fan base hasn't rolled over? Well, I can understand with the Canes because there's a lot of Dolphin fans that come from other schools and other parts of the country, and they have other interests. They might be Purdue Boilermaker fans. They might be, fans of whatever, Washington, Southern Cal, New Mexico. They don't have to be Miami fans. So the Canes, that kind of stuff, Canes fans from other parts of the country, I can understand why they wouldn't be Canes fans. But it's funny how that Dolphin Nation hasn't rolled over into the other sports to have the same kind of oomph, How come there aren't Heat bars all over the country? Now why? Maybe 82 games? Is that what it is? Since it's only 17 in football, so they're few and precious? Is that what it is? But you would figure even with 82, they would still get together for the big games in places all over the country, and it doesn't happen. Only here in South Florida. But not for the Dolphin Nation. They're in London right now watching this show or downloading it, because I see the numbers, and they go to the pub, and they go have plenty of pints while they're watching their Fins. It really is impressive, the Dolphin love. There's nothing like it. True Fin fan, talking about Dolphin love. He says the Dolphins' loyalty is second to none in this city, well, in the world, for South Florida sports. Manny didn't like it when you said that at all. Well said. No, it's not a matter of not liking it or liking it. It's just the facts. It's just the weirdest thing. Because the Dolphins haven't repaid us for our love. The Dolphins haven't repaid us for our dedication. The Dolphins haven't repaid all you folks out there, the NorCals of the world, and Ed and Dolfreaky and Papa Pump and all you hardcore Chris Barker, all you hardcore Dolphin fans that I meet and see and talk to on social media and all that. You guys spend a boatload of money. They haven't paid you back. They haven't paid you back in wins or championships or playoff trips. and you're still there. Hey, listen, we've talked about this. The fan that's under 40, that's the greatest Dolphin fan I've ever met in my life. Because they don't know jack crap about Dolphin football, good Dolphin football. All they know is terrible Dolphin football.
I'm sitting right next to you.
Yeah, you're one of them. You're one of them.
But I was gonna say I do believe there's a younger generation that's fully about the heat.
But there's no heat bars around the country.
No, I hear what you're saying.
You see what I'm saying?
But I'm saying down here though, like you see a lot of Heat jerseys, and it's usually that
Here.
19 to 30 age,
Right.
the Heat.
Right. And you'll see Canes jerseys here, and you'll see Dolphins jerseys here. But then when you step out, and listen, you'll see Heat fans at arenas everywhere. But it's funny how they haven't developed Heat bars considering all the damn wins. You know what I mean? Because so are all those Heat fans that we see in visiting arenas, are they from Miami? Or are they, because that's what I'm telling you. There's a local Dolphin fan base in Western New York, in Manhattan, in Jersey. Okay? It's not just in one place in New York. We got a bunch of Dolphin fans that are watching that are in Buffalo, Rochester area. That's crazy, dude. That's insane. They're in enemy territory, and they have created a Dolphin bar in enemy territory. You got to have a Heat bar in Manhattan, bro, in Brooklyn. Well, there's a Dolphin bar, Slattery's, in Brooklyn. Well, in Manhattan, I'm sorry. But, I mean, it's just, it's really impressive. Big O, there's a huge Canes fan base here in Atlanta. Okay? But where do you and John Michaels go to what bar? See what I'm saying? Is there a Canes bar in Atlanta? That the bar is dressed up with Canes. Go to Slattery's in New York, and you'll see Dolphin memorabilia all over the place. Go to Tommy Rocker's in Las Vegas, right next to the Raiders Stadium, literally next to the Raiders Stadium, and it's a Dolphins bar. That's what I want to see. I want to see bars that are dressed in Canes colors outside of South Florida. I want to see Heat bars outside of South Florida with Heat paraphernalia inside. That's when it takes balls. I mean, Tortugas, Sean saw it. It was a Dolphin/Canes bar, actually. And they have Dolphins and Canes stuff in there. And they're they're in Gator country there. So the Tortugas one is one that I would say that's a Canes bar there. But it's a Dolphins bar that he happens to also be a Canes. It's really more, the Dolphin stuff is actually more prominent in the place, but but he does do Canes. So it's kind of a throw-in. It's really impressive. There's a Canes bar in Winter Park, Orlando. Who is it? Give us the name of the bar. Eddie Leff says, I wonder how much is the sport. It's easier to go once a week to watch a football game, not so much going every other day, watching a basketball, baseball, etc. Yeah, but you don't have to go to all the games, but it still could be a get-together where you would get together for some of the big games. And the bar would have to have a Heat paraphernalia that they're used to accepting the Heat fan. You know what I mean? That's the key. You have to carry the paraphernalia in the bar. That's when you're officially a bar in enemy territory. Rosati's in Atlanta is a Dolphins bar. Oh, there you go. Well, I'm not surprised that there's a Dolphins bar all over the place. Big O, huge Finn fan base here in Jersey. Can you imagine the South Florida craze if today's Dolphins match that early 80s Orange Bowl success? I want the 70s success. All right, George? 80s is not good enough for me. I need 70s. I need to win the trophy this time. I don't want to get there and watch John Riggins run over them. I don't want to get there and watch Bill Walsh and Joe Montana dismantle the Dolphins. That's not good enough for me, my brother. I don't want to experience that again. Okay? The next time the Dolphins get there, I need them to do the 70s and win it. Okay? I'm not asking for a perfect season. Don't need you to go 20-0 or anything stupid like that. No, dude. You can lose a couple games in the year. That's fine with me. Just don't lose in the playoffs and win the damn Super Bowl. That's what I need, my brother. I don't want another Super Bowl loss. That's not good enough for me. I need a Super Bowl win is what I don't know about you Dolphin fans out there, but I need a Super Bowl. So I need them to have the edge. You know how you can get Edge energy drink at myedgedrink.com and use the code Big O and get 10% off, and it's delicious, smooth, zero aftertaste. But I need my franchise to get the edge and win that championship. That was the problem in the 80s. They didn't have the edge to win that championship. So 80s was nice, but not good enough. Not good enough. I need better than the 80s. I need the 70s. I need a win. I need that edge. Zonka edge. Paul Warfield edge. Nick Bonacani edge. Jim Langer edge. Okay? That's the edge I need. Give me that edge, and then we're good. And if you want this edge, you can't go to stores. You got to go to myedgedrink.com. Okay? And use our code Big O. You get 10% off. Great elixir, too, by the way. Big O, what do you think are the top 5 NFL fan bases? I don't know.
We got a top 5 on our hands, Big O, off the head?
Broncos.
Is this from 5 to 1?
I don't know. No number.
No number? All right.
No number. I'm going to go Broncos. Seattle. Cleveland. Talk about sucking for over half a century, and you're as loyal as it gets. And you pack the stadium, and you never deserve to lose your team. I'm putting Cleveland in the top 5. Pittsburgh. It's a great fan base. No, I'm not going to put Miami in there if you're going to ask me that.
I was gonna ask you one time for the home team.
No. It's a couple teams that are I'm thinking of their history. I'm thinking of all kinds of stuff. How fanatical they are.
Bills fans are up there. They're pretty crazy.
They're crazy now, but they had their time where they were kind of a little bit waffly. They are great. Packers, that's the thing. You hit it. I'm thinking Packers. I'm thinking Cowboys. Dude, that's 100,000 people there all the time, and they suck, and they let you down every single freaking time.
I think you're right. Cowboys number 1.
I mean, Cowboys are right there. You know, they're fanatical, bro. I love our fan base, but, huh? What?
Someone says the Knicks in the,
oh,
in
the
chat.
Knicks, the Jets.
Number 1, the Knicks.
Kansas City's another one that I got to put there too. It's tough to really have a 5. I don't know if our beloved Dolphins make top 5. You know, because I also got to take into account that you've been beaten down and you still show up. You know what I mean? That's pretty strong, you know? Yeah, Giants are great too. Yeah. It's hard to really nail down 5. To be honest. It's hard, man. It's hard. I would put ours in the top 10. I don't know about 5. but I would put ours in the top 10, which is still pretty impressive. But I don't know about top 5. I'd probably leave us outside of the top 5, unfortunately.
I don't want to touch a sore subject, but what would be your top 5 donuts?
Oh, I'm boring, bro. I'm the worst. I'm the worst person to ask. Glaze, old fashioned.
You're good to go.
That's it, bro.
When you sent me to Dandy, you made sure to get glaze. I remember that.
Right. I only eat glazed donuts and old fashioned. I don't, I'll eat a chocolate frosted if you force it to me that I have nothing else to eat. I have no interest in any jelly or Boston cream or, you know what I could eat once in a blue moon? A French curler. And that's kind of glaze. That's like a hollow glaze. You know what I'm saying? That's about it, but I'm boring, dude. I'm the lamest person when it comes to donuts. I'm terrible to ask about. I can tell you what a great glazed donut tastes like. Outside of that, forget it, bro. I'm bad. What was that?
X's and O's with glazed donuts with Omar.
Yes. Yeah, so I'm terrible when it comes to donuts. I'm the worst. I can't be. I can never be used as an expert donut guy because it's not my thing. I love donuts, but I love glazed donuts. I can eat glazed donuts all the way to my deathbed. I love glazed donuts. I can't have enough of them. But I'm not the guy that is dying to get some, weird ass donut with all kinds of crap on it. That's why I think the sprinkle thing, my wife goes, man, it bothers you more than me. And I said, yeah, because I'm the one asking for it. And I don't like asking for something and I'm not getting what I'm asking for. That's not customer service. You know what I mean? And when it happens over and over, if it only happened once, I would have never said about it. I would have never said a damn thing about it. But I made a whole segment out of it because it's happened to me a shit ton of times. And I'm tired of it.
Oh, you are the plainest eating fat guy ever.
I know.
It's amazing because you go to the store, it's like chicken sandwich, lettuce and tomato. And they look at you like, that's it? Yes, that's it. Lettuce and tomato. Glazed donut.
I'm a lame ass fat guy. I'm also the weird fat guy. I can't sit there and have a giant plate of food. You've been with me a whole bunch of times now. Do you ever see me sit down and eat like a ton of food? No, because I'm eating throughout the day.
Yeah.
All day long. That's how I stay fat because I cheat throughout the entire day. Yeah. But you can never use me for an eating contest. I'm going to lose every time. I will be the worst person in that eating contest because I cannot eat a lot in one sitting. It's the weirdest thing, dude. Yeah, I'm a weird fat guy. Yeah, I'm a totally weird fat guy. True Fin Fan says, if you're going by loyalty while sucking forever, it's Cleveland, hands down. Yeah. And Detroit's pretty loyal too, by the way. Considering Detroit, they go to the stadium, but Cleveland packs it. They will pack the practices. They will pack the phone lines. The Browns fan is a special fan. Okay? Listen, I want us a championship badly, but I'm not going to tell you, I'm not going to be a D-bag here and tell you that Cleveland doesn't deserve one too. If there's a fan base that deserves a damn championship, dude, the Browns deserve a championship. I know our Finns deserve a championship too, but I feel for those Browns fans because they lost their team when they had no business losing their team because you can't be as loyal as they were and then you take the team away from them. And I know it was all, voting the taxpayers, the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. I know the whole storyline. I know everything that went about it, and Modell left and went to Baltimore, and the rest is history. So I understand everything that went on, but I have to defend those fans. Those are great, great fans. And all they do is get hammered. Hammered, bro. Constantly. Sprinkles are for winners. Well, now you know why I don't like sprinkles. So, Jeff, you hit it right on the spot right there. I'm a loser.
Hey, yo.
Yes.
The Cleveland fans get rewarded with years of Deshaun Watson.
That's it. They get massaged by Watson. Don't they love that? Morning, Big O and Sean. Greetings from Las Vegas. That's right. That's why he can say morning. And another guy says, I miss Velvet Cream. Juice F5, thank you for the love in the super chat. He says, oh, did you ever eat a Velvet Cream? Oh, yeah, man. Please. Religiously. Remember, I went to Arbondale Elementary, which was right behind Velvet Cream. I've told the story before. Velvet Cream, we used to, obviously you don't grow up rich. You go there and you would have day-old donuts. It was like 3 cents or 4 cents. Like a regular glazed donut, fresh one, was like 9 or 10 cents. Or maybe 8. And then the day-old were only a couple cents. It was awesome. So you would go and get a day-old glazed donut, which tasted fantastic. When they had the hot glaze going on, obviously you can't beat that. But yeah, I remember that. And then when they would get 2 or 3 days old, they would end up in the dumpster in the back. So you know what we would do? We would go to the dumpster in the back, go grab boxes. Then we'd go over to the basketball courts at Arbondale, which was 2 blocks behind the Velvet Cream. And then everybody got an even number of boxes, and they went to the corner. And then we counted 3, 2, 1. And it was a donut fight. And we were throwing donuts at each other. And so that's what we spent So we thank Velvet Cream for providing fresh donuts, day-old donuts, and fighting donuts. It was great because even if you got hit in the face, it was a little hard, but it wasn't the end of the world, and it's just like glaze and stuff exploding, hitting off your chest, all that kind of stuff. If you got one that was maybe a little 4th day old, or maybe it baked in the sun a little bit more, it might have had a little bit more of an edge. It might have cut through the wind a little bit more too for you, so you might have been able to throw it a little harder. Yeah, baby. Donut fights at Arbondale Park in the 70s. Oh, man. Legendary. I love it. It's nothing like that. Because, back in Halloween, we had egg fights too. Anybody had egg fights in Halloween? Of course. And, and the difference was with the eggs, you had to bury them for a couple days before Halloween. So that way they'd be nice and smelly. And when you'd heave them and hit somebody, ooh, they got hit with a rotten egg. Oh, yes. My childhood. Man, I miss my childhood. That was a lot of fun. Donut fights, egg fights. Oh, yeah, we used to shoot Roman candles at each other all the time.
Yeah, we were
all the
worried
time.
about that.
All the time. Yeah, we'd stand from one side of the half block to the other. It'd be like a war zone, and you'd be firing. And then we'd get the glass bottles, and you get the bottle rocket, and you put the bottle rocket inside the glass bottle, and then the fuse would be on the other side. So that's what would keep the bottle rocket from going inside the bottle. And then you'd light it up, and then you'd hold it out, and you'd still have all your fingers, unlike some defensive end from the NFL. And so you'd fire that off. And so there you go. It was fun. Yeah, we did all those kind of dangerous things that we shouldn't be doing when we were kids, of course, for sure.
My generation was paintball fights.
Oh, paintball.
guns,
See, yeah. It's more legal. That's more. Yeah, we were on the other side of the fence, unfortunately.
Yeah, we were idiots too with our Roman candles because we used to fire across an intersection.
Oh yeah,
it wasn't like an intersect like a busy one. It was, and every once in a while you'd get in the car and then all you hear is
yeah, and everybody's running.
Runs. Yep,
everybody's running, and you got to hide, run and hide.
We would find, because I lived out west near the Everglades, so we would just go into the Everglades and woods and start.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I don't know how legal it was. You could have gotten in some trouble, maybe.
Probably. Yeah. There's a good chance. Big O, did you see the brawl yesterday at Rams Bengals? Yes, I did. I saw that Aaron Donald was swinging a helmet. And Velvet Cream is similar to Krispy Kreme, except Krispy Kreme is better. Okay? And thank you, Devin Jordan, for the super chat. My man, you're a stud. So yesterday, Aaron Donald got into it with La'el Collins, by the way. And so he started swinging a helmet, maybe even 2 helmets at La'el Collins. And everybody's freaking out about this with Aaron Donald and all of that. Do you think this doesn't happen at camp all the time? I saw Jason Taylor do the same thing to John Bach. Exact same thing. John Bach was an offensive lineman. Jason Taylor, all-world defensive end, we all know. Practice, when they used to hit, actually, in practice, it got heavy. And if you know anything about John Bach wasn't going to take any crap from anybody. Okay? John Bach was one of those hard-nosed, blue-collar offensive linemen, played in the league for a couple years, tough-ass dude, and him and Jason got in a scuffle. And Jason got so pissed off that he started swinging his helmet at John Bach. They broke up the fight. John Bach was yelling at Jason Taylor, "You P word." And he said the P word like 5 or 6 times. I know, I was there. I saw it. This is not secondhand or anything like that. Nobody can deny it. Nobody can call me a liar. Nobody can tell me anything. I saw it. So it sucks. It's not a good thing to have a helmet and start swinging a helmet. You could hurt somebody badly with that. But let's not make it sound like this is the first time and, oh, my God, Aaron Donald is this criminal or anything. It's football, dude. These are tough, hard-nosed individuals. They've got a crap ton of pride, and you're going up against this was. And by the way, John Bach and Jason Taylor were teammates, and they were fighting like this. La'el Collins and Aaron Donald are not teammates. Okay. You know, one thing on this show that we'll give you that you're not going to get in a lot of shows is perspective. And we're going to compare it to other things that have gone on because we kind of follow the history of the damn game, you know, overall. So when I see the overreaction of Aaron Donald, oh, please, did anybody get hurt? No. Okay. So let's move on. Okay. Whatever. Oh, he's got to be suspended. Oh, the league has got to get in. Oh, give me a break. Have you ever been on a football field? Come on, man. There's competition. People push each other. People get into fights. You got to separate it before anybody gets hurt. It's a physical sport. Crap happens. Do you want to see somebody swinging a helmet? Hells to the no. But if we're not going to worry about an alleged rapist playing at quarterback, now we're going to really go overboard about a guy swinging a helmet. And last time I checked, apparently there's a punter in the league now charged with gang rape. But, you know, that's a crime against women. That's not important in the NFL. But God forbid you swing a helmet against another guy. Oh, man. Yeah, remember, you can tamper with women, not with players in the NFL. No, don't go tampering in the NFL. Tamper all you want with women, but not with players. So if anybody, with all that stuff, you tell them, hey, Jason Taylor did the same thing to John Bach, and all was forgotten. You move on. Couple pissed off dudes, they calm down, they move on, and it's over. Okay? Happens in football all the time. It's not the first time. It's not the end. Let's not overreact. Okay? Let's not act like a bunch of wussies. Relax. It's a tough man's game. That's why you and I aren't playing, because we're not tough enough. We're not talented enough. We're not mean enough. We don't have the edge to play there. I don't think it was smart for the joint practices. Oh, I've heard that repeated too about the 2 Super Bowl teams, whatever. There were fights with, who was it last week? They canceled the practices and everything. Were they in the Super Bowl also, by the way? What was it? Tampa Bay? No. Was it the Rams last week also with somebody else? Last week they canceled practices because they kept getting into fights. Those two teams weren't in the Super Bowl. It's a lazy take that others repeat. Dude, it's a preseason matchup. They couldn't in the regular season, it didn't jive. So they have them meet in the preseason. Big deal. Professionals act like it. That's last week, bro. Tell me who it was that they canceled.
Sean's on it.
They canceled the damn practice. I saw it. New England, Carolina. Thank you. Thank you, Karen. Dolphins. Yeah, because they're the latest ones to cancel practice. Yeah. But it was Patriots and Carolina. And last time I checked, they weren't in the Super Bowl. So why isn't that being used for them? Because it's a convenient argument. Oh, well, I want to put the Super Bowl teams. Oh, okay. All right. Let me repeat what the other guy says. Well, I want to put the Super Bowl teams, and so on and so on and so on. It's like one person says it, and it becomes a parrot, and people don't think for themselves.
Oh, there was Bill's teammates fight broke out a couple weeks ago. Yes. They're on the same team.
Yes, it's silliness. Oh, it was the Super Bowl teams. Well, yeah. Well, how's Carolina, New England? I mean, enough already. Oh, my God, Aaron Donald. Send him to jail. Suspend him. He heaved a helmet at somebody. That's never been done before in football. That's why when I saw that story, I go, let me enlighten Dolphins just in case. Because most of you weren't there because I was there in practice and I saw it. It happens. Give me a break. Did you see or hear Richard Sherman take a shot at Tua and Tyreek last night? I did not. Don't really care. Was he in the middle of screaming at the door to let him in also at the same time? I don't know. Was it another bit of rage out of Richard Sherman? I have no idea.
No, he was just saying Tua has to prove to everyone that I guess he's the guy. It pretty much was, it was a little jab, but nothing crazy.
Let's repeat what everybody else is repeating. Oh, Tua's got to. This is the year. Here, let's go with the Tua cliches. Ready? This is the year for Tua. Hey, Tua doesn't have any more excuses. Hey, Tua's got a lot to prove. Hey, Tua's now got a coach. Hey, they got Tua, Tyreek Hill. That's all. And so then everybody else repeats the same crap over and over again. It's just a bunch of garbage, bro. Everybody's got something to prove. Again, the most asinine thing about all of this is, if you really look at what's happened the first 2 years, Tua's not your problem. But again, those people aren't objective enough. They don't really see what's going on. It's kind of the same silliness that I heard from Danny Cannell that I told you a couple of days ago. Well, Tua's got no excuses. There were never any excuses. There were facts, dude. Excuses are lies. Excuses are things you say because you don't want to face the truth. Like Danny Cannell, I think, has a problem with understanding what excuses and what facts are. Like a lot of you out there that do the same silliness that Danny Cannell did, and you repeat the same things because you don't think for yourselves. So just like Danny Cannell is a former player, he sounds like the same tool that other people do by repeating the same crap. Oh, he's got a lot to prove. Really? No shit. He's the number 5 pick in the draft. Everybody's got something to prove. Well, he's got no excuses now. Whatever, dude. Yeah, having no running game is an excuse, right? Not a fact.
Oh, I do have one question.
Yes, sir.
When they sit there and they say, if the season is a failure, it's on Tua. Why is it only on Tua if the season's a failure? Before we even start the season, I mean,
because you're already putting Tua as the end all be all to everything. So it wasn't like he could block last year. It wasn't like he couldn't run last year. It wasn't like he couldn't coach last year. But, blame it all on him. Of course, he's the reason why Austin Jackson sucked. And he's the reason why Liam Eichenberg can't block a ghost. I mean, just it's amazing to me. It's nothing. This is what they come up with constantly. And then you remember, it's a lot like I got to do it. It's a lot like the Trumpies that they have bought in all the way, and so now they're already so deep in insurrection, illegal papers, whatever. They still got to back their guy, because if not, they're going to look really bad now backing out. And this is the same thing with Tua. They're so deep into it that he wasn't the guy, that now when he starts looking like the guy, they're the ones that are going to come up with excuses. That's the funny part now. The Danny Cannells of the world and those kind of guys and the Omar Kellys and all, they're the ones that are going to come up with the excuses. Oh, no, he's only good because he's got a coach now. Oh, so he was supposed to be good without a coach. Oh, okay, I got you now. Oh, no, he's only good now because they can run the ball. Oh, so he's supposed to be good without the running game. Oh, he's only good now because they got an offensive. Oh, so he was supposed to also overcome an offensive line. Oh, I got you now. I didn't know that. Oh, he's only good now because he's got receivers. Oh, so he's got to overcome all the injured receivers on the side. Oh, I get you now, dude. Of course. The guys that are using facts for excuses will end up using facts for excuses.
Oh, I saw what you did there. Those guys are Tua deep into it.
Exactly. Nice. They're so deep in that they've already made their mistake, and now they instead of looking bad or taking the L, okay, just take the L. Now you're going to keep covering up for yourself because this is what you do. It doesn't matter. So it's funny, man. It's hilarious. Kyle Turley tossing the helmet. Very good. Now he was kind of crazy. If you remember Kyle Turley's elevator didn't really go to the top floor. His 2 oars didn't hit the water. He was a few sandwiches short of a picnic. However you want to phrase it, but Kyle Turley was a little out there. Just a bit outside. But yeah, you're right. He did it. I mean, listen, it happens, man. It's football. Aaron Donald didn't hurt anybody. We move on, okay? Do you know how many things happen on a football field that big, strong, violent individuals could have hurt each other and they got lucky, and it just, it's something that it gets swept under the rug. You move on because you understand it's hard to ask somebody to play a violent game and then ask them to be 100% humane on the same field. You understand what I'm saying? You can't ask a warrior in a gladiator, let's say in the Roman times, you can't ask him to all of a sudden, develop some kind of decency in that moment. It's a mindset that you're somewhere else. Now, when you step out of the field, when you're out of the building, that's when you're supposed to turn it off and become a human being. But inside that building, and especially on that field, in that moment of rage, in that moment of violence for several seconds, it's hard to kind of corral your emotions every single time. You will never be able to do it, and I will never be able to do it. None of us are that perfect. You've got to be, I don't know, Russell Wilson to Bob Greasy or something. I don't know. Drew Brees probably. Very, very few of those guys that and look, I'm talking about quarterbacks mainly. I don't even know if you can get a defensive end or a lineman to think humane in a moment of violence. And to think that you're going to make somebody humane in that moment of rage, it's unrealistic, man. It just is. Or boxing, the bell rings. You still keep swinging sometimes. There's this rage, this anger that you just can't turn it off the second the bell happens. You know, it's just one of those things. You cannot ask people who play a violent sport to be, disciplined and be able to just turn it off within a millisecond of a violent action. It's really, really hard to do that. I know I would never be able to do that if I'm sitting there fighting with a guy every down in, down out, and then some frustration is going to take over. And, crap happens, man. Happens in a pickup basketball game. Doesn't it? Sometimes. You wasn't you didn't really mean it, but sometimes you and your buddy, and they separated and you kind of cool down and you figure it out. Hasn't that ever happened? None of us are perfect. So let's not make Aaron Donald this criminal or something. He's a football player. He's playing a violent game. It's a physical moment. Who knows what Leo Collins said to him? Never know, man.
He's got a pair of balls to go up against that guy.
Oh, he does. What about what? What about, Reggie White might be one of those guys that could probably, but he's kind of the minister of defense. He does have the name for it. You can't be a minister if you don't have the discipline. So, again, you whipped out a minister on me. That's just wrong. But then again, Eugene Robinson was out hoe chasing in the Super Bowl. So, and he was the pastor or whatever, preacher or whatever. I guess he didn't practice what he preached. Yes, the minister of defense. I love it. Tua's only good now because he's a Pisces, and his zodiac aligns with the third moon of Endor, where Chewbacca gives him Wookiee superpowers. I like that. That's it, right? Got to keep it aligned, right? All the way to the Super Bowl, Sean says. I like that. Big O, give me a break. This is part of the game at times. Your emotions get the best of you at times. Exactly. To roast Aaron Donald is ridiculous. That's why I wanted to tell the Jason Taylor story. So it brings perspective. People can calm the hell down because we hold Jason Taylor to, a high standard, right? Right? We admire Jason Taylor. We all love Jason Taylor. We appreciate what Jason did. We know Jason's a great human being. And guess what? He had his moment too. Because he's a human being playing a violent game against a violent person in John Bach. A guard that was going to push you. If you were going up against John Bach, you might beat John Bach, but you were going to earn that shit. You know what I'm saying? It happens, man. It happens. That's why I wanted to tell the Jason Taylor story so we can calm the hell down a little bit, Dan B. You're with me. You know what I'm talking about. Reggie had one arm. The other was injured. He threw offensive tackle Allen of the Cowboys backwards with that one arm. Yeah, it was a swim move, and then he had like this punch that was just, and he would lift guys, man. Reggie was special, man. I mean, there are a few of those guys, the Lawrence Taylors of the world, and the guys that just alter the game. Aaron Donald's like that. There are certain guys that you must scheme for, because if you don't scheme for Bruce Smith, your day is done. Okay? If you don't actually pay attention to that one guy alone will disrupt everything that you do. And there's only a few of those guys in the history of the game. Reggie White was one of those guys. He can just wreck your offensive game plan and you could not do anything about it. So you better make sure somebody's chipping, somebody is coming to help out, because your offensive tackle is going to have a long-ass day if he thinks he's going to hold up Reggie White all game long. You can forget about that. Robert from Denver, thank you for the love on the super chat, my brother. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Appreciate you there on the super chat. Where is Bitcoin? Bitcoin down to 20,766. We go up, we go down. We go up, we go down. Just keep me in that buying zone, bro. Just keep me in that buying zone for a few months. Should be the target for everybody is to try to own a Bitcoin if you can. Still a ways away to that, but I would love to. I believe the move was called the hump move, throwing a 300-pound man. Unbelievable. Big O, baseball fights are even more lame, while NHL hockey fights are the real McCoy. Hockey fights those are the real deal. Devin says, scariest football player ever to me was Lawrence Taylor and Ray Lewis. Yeah, I'll go Lawrence Taylor before Ray Lewis, but yeah, Ray was amazing. But yeah.
Oh,
Lawrence.
Relentless. Jerome Brown.
Oh, God, he could disrupt the crap out of everything.
That's what, because I never got you. I mean, I followed a little bit of him, you know, because of his, early passing. How much, how different, I guess, would the Eagles' defense have been if they played together longer?
Oh,
Reggie
God.
White, Brown.
Right, yeah, no. That team was sick. They had so much talent. Their linebackers were also amazing. Jerome Brown was one of those kind of guys that can just cave the pocket in. And now, rest in peace and everything, and I'll tell you, and I'll be, we're transparent and we're honest here with you. Jerome also had his moments where he would coast on plays. He had, there was, 20% of the time, 25% of the time, he may not have played like he should have played. But when Jerome Brown wanted to wreck your life, he wrecked your life. It was over. It's just your quarterback was not going to step into any pocket whatsoever. So he had, Darryl Gardner had a lot of that in him, where Darryl could also disrupt when he wanted to play. I wouldn't put him ever in the category of those guys, but he flashed those moments, Darryl Gardner, next to Tim Bowens, because Tim was a guy that would hold up people and jam the line and jam a couple guys and allow the linebackers to run free and do their thing. Darryl was a little different. Yeah, Darryl could hold up guys if he had to, but Darryl could also just wham and get back and get to the quarterback and get in there and disrupt things. And that's what Jerome Brown could do. Jerome Brown was a physical presence on the line that could cave in the line and ruin your running game, but he was also going to disrupt the pocket and not allow your quarterback to get comfortable in there too at the same time. But he had a little bit of switch on, switch off. And so, some players have that, man. Unfortunately, Yeah. He even had it in college too. He had it in college. It was something that came with him, but he was so talented and so gifted and so dominant when he wanted to dominate that you wanted him on your team because he was that good. You know what I mean? But did he have a relentless motor like Aaron Donald? No. Did he have a relentless motor like Reggie White? No. Did he have a relentless cocaine-led motor like Lawrence Taylor? No. And so that's the difference. And that's why I can't put him in those categories, because he didn't have that motor that comes with that. Ray Lewis had that motor. Every down was going to be, Zach Thomas had that motor that you were going to be a maniac on every single down. There's a lot of players in this league and in the history of the game, that aren't necessarily as active on every down as they should be. And that's the difference between those elite of the elite that we talk about. But Jerome, man, God, rest in peace. He can wreck some stuff too. Wreck it, man. Wreck it. Let's see. What do we have here? They got rid of Chris Carter because all he did was catch TDs. They instead went with Calvin Williams and Fred Barnett. Are you talking about here in Miami? We didn't get the Chris Carter we got here was useless. So I'm not sure. Eric, I covered that team and I covered Chris Carter. He was great in Minnesota, Hall of Famer in Minnesota. He was a phenomenal player in Minnesota. The guy they got here was a shell of that player. And so, no, I disagree with you, my brother. I don't. Fred Barnett, by the way, he actually did a decent job here considering what was going on. And I got to tell you, Fred Barnett Fridays were classic. And I don't know if Fred Barnett is watching this show anywhere he's at. I don't know if anybody knows Fred Barnett, but if you do know him, tell him on behalf of me, okay, and the media members that were on the beat with me, that we truly appreciated Fridays with Fred Barnett. That's all I'm going to say. I'm not going to say what was said, because we got to turn off the recorders, turn off the cameras, put the pads away, and we were just talking, okay? And I just want to tell Fred Barnett, thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you for those moments, those Fridays. They were fun. Good dude. Good dude. I got nothing but good things to say about Fred Barnett, and he did a solid job while he was here, considering how difficult the situation was. And if I believe correctly, that's when Chan Gailey was the guy running the offense when Fred Barnett was here. If I'm correct on that, I believe Chan Gailey was the offensive coordinator at that time, and I thought he did a really good job with the limitations that he had overall. Oh, you think he was talking about the Eagles? Oh, okay. All right. Because no, we had Fred Barnett here. That's why I'm saying. Because it's kind of weird that we had Fred Barnett. Because Chris Carter was actually wide receiver for Philly back in the 90s, but the Eagles thought Calvin Williams. I got you. Okay. Fred wasn't a bad receiver, by the way. And again, Eric, you remember he was an alcoholic in Philadelphia. You kind of comfortably left that out, that he had alcohol issues, and Buddy Ryan could not deal with it anymore. In fact, Eric, the blessing was getting cut from Philadelphia. You conveniently leave out that he was ruining his life with alcohol. And he said it. He says it himself. The wake-up call was the cut. That's what made him straighten out his life and go to Minnesota and become a great receiver. He might have never become Chris Carter if he stayed in Philadelphia. You got to, Eric, when you talk about things, you must have context in them. You must have all of the facts in there on, it's not convenience that they thought that they had to go with Fred Barnett and Calvin Williams, my brother. They felt they had no choice. They had an alcoholic on the team that was not committed to the position, to the team, was not reliable. So don't blame you. You're blaming Philly, okay? The Eagles thought Calvin Williams and Fred Barnett were better. That's not a proper statement, my brother. You are way off there. They had no choice, and they had to go in that direction. Okay?
Oh, can I blame Philly for canceling yesterday's practice?
No, I'll blame one of their players for poisoning our players.
All right. But so we can blame them as a whole then.
Okay?
Blame Philly then.
Yeah. That's all. I personally, I think it was Darius Slay. I think Darius Slay was so embarrassed on that first day that he went and poisoned people and said, there's no way I'm going through this again.
Happened on the first play, too.
And the second, and the third, and the fourth. Okay? I think Darius Slay, I'm sorry, but I'm blaming Darius. I think Darius Slay is the one that poisoned people. Okay? So, Darius was pissed off. He got thoroughly embarrassed, and he had to exact revenge. He knew he wasn't going to be able to do it on the field because he's not going to beat Tyreek. There's no way he's covering Tyreek. So he said, okay, if I can't cover them, I'm going to poison them. And sure enough, there he goes. A little food poisoning for us, and our boys are out. So Darius Slay, I see you, dude. I see you. I know what you're about. Okay? Busted.
Oh, if we would have sent some Nature B over to the boys, maybe could have been prevented, you know?
That's it. We send a little Nature B. And by the way, you can send some Nature B to your home. Just use our code Big O. You buy 2 months, you get the third month for free and free shipping. All right? And remember, I think like one of our listeners went through it. Once you get to you add you get to the paying, then you get the discount. So use our code Big O and buy 2 months, you'll get the third month for free and free shipping. And if they would have used a little Nature B, they probably would have felt a lot better because it does help in digestion. So there you go. Natural plant pollen, baby. Feel the energy, boost your immune system. Only a couple days left. The end of this month, it's over. So 3 months for the price of 2 and free shipping. Use our code Big O. Brett Dodger says, Big O conspiracy theory. I don't know. I'm going to say it's fact. Karen says, Tobin and Leroy went on a rant about Philly players poisoning the Dolphins. It was absolutely hysterical. There you go. They're probably onto it. They probably thought the same thing. Darius Slay, right? They probably thought Darius Slay. A.J. Brown for getting upset that Philly. Oh, A.J. Brown. You guys got A.J. Brown. No, I think Darius Slay would be. Darius Slay has all the reason to poison people because he's the one that looked like a horse's ass out there. He looked like he was completely useless. Seriously, one more practice. I think Howie Rose and the GM would have come down and says, hey, Darius, can you take a pay cut, please? Because you know, Tyreek just embarrassed you over and over again. You got to take a pay cut. So I think that's what happened there. That's what I'm going to go with. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it. Hey, do we have Marcel yet? Cameron yet? Send Cameron a note there, bro. What is he on Cuban time? It's 12:38 already. Only Cubans can do this shit. Not him. Oh, he's there? Okay. We got to talk to him because this Cuban time stuff, just because he now lives in South Florida, Cameron Wolf, doesn't mean he gets to do the Cuban time thing. That's our thing. We're the only ones that can be late to everything there, Cam. All right, let's go with our KSDT CPA Cuban report.
We unleash the Wolf Pack as we get the latest in the NFL and the Miami Dolphins with our KSDT CPA Pro Football Report with NFL Network insider Cameron Wolf. KSDT is one of South Florida's largest and one of the country's fastest growing accounting firms. KSDT CPA is a full-service firm that also excels in crypto. Visit them at ksdtcpa.com or call 305-670-3370. Here's NFL insider Cameron Wolf.
Damn, you got me thinking. Devin Jordan just sent in a super chat, and thank you. He goes, do you remember Buddy Ryan punched a coach? And I do remember. And he was an offensive-minded coach. He had a salt and pepper mustache. He coached for the Jags. And I'm forgetting his damn name now. I don't want to cheat. But somebody will come up with it. But I remember offensive coach. I remember he swung. He didn't really – I don't think he connected. Or he maybe grazed or something like that. All right. So, Cam, you've been here for a couple years now. So, what, you Cuban now? Is that what it is?
I got a little bit of Cuban in me, right? Like, it's
obviously
in your blood, right?
If you're late, we've affected you.
I will say last week I was in the waiting room for 10 minutes. So, I feel like this is just kind of reversing
That's true.
vibes from last week. But I will say I'm actually flying to Atlanta at 3:00. So, I was finishing packing, doing all my chores before I left so I can finish the show and then get ready to get on the flight. So that's why I was, I guess, 7 minutes late for my segment. So
now I was late last week because I am Cuban. So see, I have the facts. I have the disease.
I'm sure there is some.
My wife was 45 minutes late to her own wedding. I told her that I'm going to get you back because I'm going to be 3 hours late to my funeral. That's what I told her. I said, you're going to be waiting for my ass in the funeral. Okay.
Yeah.
So that's what I told her. So, I'll get her back. I'll get her back. I don't know when, but I'll get her back. That's for damn sure. Gilbride. That's it. Kevin Gilbride. Thank you. You guys got it in there. Very nice. Very nice. All right. I kind of felt bad that they didn't get the workout in. You know why, Cam? I feel bad for the young guys.
Yeah.
The vets, pretty much most of the vets are, they kind of have their spots already. The former Atlanta receiver, he wasn't going to make this team anyways. That vet, he's been a pro's pro, by the way.
Right.
What's his name? He's
Mohamed Sanu.
Sanu, yeah, he's the guy. Boy, he takes extra time to get dressed because he's got wraps and stuff all over his knees and his ankles and his elbows and all that. I mean, he's the most stylish dude out there in camp every single day. But I mean, most of the vets are safe. But the Porter Gustins of the world and the Ben Stilleys of the world and Braylon Sanders, who I don't know if he has a shot to be the sixth receiver, maybe the practice squad or something, but all those kind of things is what I felt bad for those kind of guys yesterday.
Yeah. The second day of joint practice, I mean, coaches treat it essentially like another preseason game. So it's another day for you to shine. Like you mentioned, a guy like a Braylon Sanders or a guy like Cameron Good, who's your 7th round pick, who hasn't done a ton this offseason, probably on the bubble as well, competing with some of the guys you mentioned, like Porter Gustin and some other fellows. This is a practice. If all of a sudden you flash and get a couple sacks, that might get you on the roster, or that might you get a couple catches over one of their top receivers, that might get you on the roster. And so, it hurts. I mean, but I think the bigger thing for them is if they are good with this stomach bug thing and they play Saturday, that's their last opportunity. So they missed out on the practice, but it would be a double whammy if they miss out on the game, because a lot of these guys do need like one last hurrah. So what have you done for me lately? You might have flashed the first couple weeks, but if I haven't seen anything for you in a week and a half, then it might be tough for me to make you in the top 53. So that's what these last few days of camp are for.
What are you hearing on the Gesicki front?
So the team is trying to hush it down quite a bit, on the trade rumblings there. Mike McDaniel did not deny that they've had trade conversations, by the way. He kind of had this lengthy conversation about, hey, the list is long, about guys who are in trade conversations, not like coaching Mike, and we're trying to give him the block more. But he didn't deny that they've had trade conversations with Mike Gesicki. So, I haven't heard of anything imminent.
Hey, by the way, Mike McDaniel, get used to it.
Right.
You're working for Trader Greer, bro.
Right.
It's like you're working with the guy that's the most active trader that there is in the NFL. So when there are trade rumors, say, bro, it's probably true, because that guy's always making moves.
Right. And we've seen the team deny trade reports when they haven't been true. Xavier Howard, Tua, exactly. So like these are things that if they really felt strongly that the guy wasn't being shopped, they would say, no way, he's not being shopped. So I'm sure that his name has come up. Now, will he get traded? I haven't heard anything imminent in that respect. You got to remember, Mike Gesicki's making $11 million this year. So it's tough to find a team that just has a free $11 million that they're just going to stick a tight end to. And also,
hold on a second, because let's go back to Ryan Tannehill.
Yeah.
Okay. Miami paid a portion of that salary in order to get a 4th rounder.
Right.
That would be my follow-up to you.
Okay.
Miami has money under the cap. They have plenty of money. They could easily take half of that hit for a specific pick. I'm sure there's going to be a price like, hey, we'll take half, but you got to give us a
absolutely
or something like that.
Here's the difference between the Tannehill situation. They were absolutely going to get rid of Ryan Tannehill regardless. Whether they were trading him, releasing him, he was not going to be a Dolphin in the following season. Mike Gesicki is, if they don't get what they desire in a trade, he's going to be a Dolphin. They're not going to cut him. I don't think they're in a position where it's got so dire that they're going to eat money just to get rid of him on the roster. I think they'd rather just play him out on $11 million. If it doesn't work out, you just
get
let
the
him walk.
Compensatory next year. Remember,
you just let him walk and get a comp pick. So I don't think they're in a position where they're going to eat money. I think they would still want a decent return and the other team eat all the money. And so, like I said, at this point in the August, September, are you going to get a team that wants to pay an $11 million to a tight end and give you an asset that's probably not something that, there's a lot of teams that are going to do. So, at this point, I don't think he's going anywhere, but I think it is interesting. And I think it's important for folks to know that this has not been a smooth camp for Mike Gesicki.
No,
this is not. He's whether even as a receiver, like we know he's not a great blocker. He hasn't had a great camp there as a blocker. They've been trying to,
because they don't care about the receiving part because they already know he can do that. I mean, the other day, one-handed stab, like, hey, here, I'm here.
Right.
Yeah, we know you can do that. We need you to do this. And,
yes.
And that's really that's why you didn't see much action from him, because they want to see if he can block, because if you can't block, we can't sell you on offense.
Exactly. And this is a team that's going to run a lot of up tempo. And so it's hard to run up tempo if you have a one-dimensional player on the field playing tight end. And so that's why I think you're going to see a lot more Durham Smythe in one tight end sets than we've seen in the past. I think that,
and he's been smooth.
Yeah.
Smooth.
Right. And the big thing for Mike McDaniel, who always wants to be unpredictable, you're unpredictable when Durham Smythe's on the field. You're predictable when Mike Gesicki's on the field. So yes, he's a great talent. You ideally make it work on a guy like that, but it's tough. It hamstrings you a little bit as a play caller, and that's something that is notable. So
it's like your boy Brian Flores wanting Jordan Howard.
Yeah. When you got Jordan Howard in, you're not going to throw the ball to him.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I called Brian Flores your boy.
By the way, did you see the Brian Flores fashion deal with the? Yeah,
I saw it. That's awesome. Good for him. What the hell? It's a buddy of his, right?
Apparently, a guy he was went to high school with. So good for him getting his money. I just would not wear those clothes. That's all I would say.
No. Hey, he looks like a conservative guy anyway. So it's not. I don't really look at Brian as he's going to be Mr. Fashion. You know what I'm saying? I think he's kind of a straight and narrow guy. So I could see him wearing those kind of clothes. So yeah, it's kind of up his alley. All right. I don't think I talked about this when were you on last? You were on last
Tuesday.
Okay. So we hadn't talked about this. Here's my crazy ass idea.
All
right. I want to move Michael Dieter into the starting lineup over Eichenberg. I like what I've seen from Dieter since he came back from the injury. Eichenberg to me has been the weak link out of the five, actually. Okay. When I see mistakes, more often than not, it seems it comes from his position. I think he's a natural tackle. I'd like to make him the swing tackle. Okay. I'd like to make Dieter the left guard. And the reason why I think he'll be the better guard, he was mauling people the other day. And then on top of that, he's in the game. God forbid something happens to Connor. He's in the game. He knows what the calls are going. He sees what's going on in the line. It's an easy transition for him to move over. And then you can move Solomon Kinley in as your backup, left guard or right guard, whatever, and keep Eichenberg as your swing tackle. I think you're going to get a better player out of there. Your thoughts on that craziness?
So, I'm not sure that Liam Eichenberg isn't a better guard than Michael Dieter is at this point. And my only thing that is not a praise of Liam Eichenberg, I just don't know that Michael Dieter is a good guard in this league. I mean, like we saw him as early in his career as a guard, and it wasn't that great. So, for me, I think that it is a fair question about Liam Eichenberg if he's the right fit there. But I don't know if I put Dieter there. For one thing, he hasn't played guard all camp. He's only played center. And so he hasn't really played guard in 2 years. Last year, he was center all last year. So, maybe you could think it's like riding a bike, but for a guy who hadn't played guard in 2 years to say, hey, a week before the season.
That's his natural position, dude. That's his natural position. That's what
he's still been 2 years. It's still been 2 years.
He's always been a left guard. That's been his position. I
understand. I understand. But is there anything in life that you feel like that you haven't done in 2 years that you would be excellent at? That all of a sudden, if they said tomorrow, Big O, do this.
Space Invaders. Why? Why are you laughing, bro? Donkey Kong. Serious Donkey Kong. Come on. What's wrong with you?
I will say there's not much that I feel like I would be great at that I haven't done in 2 years.
I haven't done in 2 years. I don't know about I was never great, but I bet you I'll go get up on water skis right now. I haven't done it in several years, actually, but I bet I'll get up now. But I was never great. I could go on one ski, too. I bet I could
See, maybe so. But for example, for me, I haven't skied. I haven't skied in the mountains. I used to ski in Denver, right?
Ooh,
I haven't skied in the mountains in 4 years. That's even double. I guarantee you, if I went out there to ski, and I became a pretty good skier. I was doing the blacks. I guarantee you, if I went out there and skied today, I would fall. I would fall, at least for the first hour.
Can I tell you my story on my first double black?
Yeah.
Double black, because I'm really stupid.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, so we get off the gondola. First time ever on skis.
Yep.
We're not going to take lessons, whatever, Yeah, I think we were going to go down the yellow thing, because I think yellow's the easiest one, right? Or blue? Which one's the
blue should be the easiest.
So we were going to go down the blues, right? Dude, I hooked and turned into a double black.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
First time ever on skis.
Woo!
Ba, da, dee, ba. Ski is 50 yards up.
Yeah.
I broke one of my suspenders. I had snow in my balls.
Yeah.
I mean, it was just like, and then I had to walk up the hill sideways to get my second ski.
Yeah. That's dangerous, man. People have
I should have died that day.
People have died. There's a lot of trees in double blacks.
It's a double black. So then I said, oh my God, there was no way I could go back all the way up. So I got to go down.
Right.
So I said, you know what? I'll start going sideways like this, and I'll try to, and so I did it once. I did it twice. I was able, all right. And on that third one, whoop, boop, I fell. And dude, I must have been toboggan about 50 miles an hour down that hill, bro.
Right.
And I was screaming, get out of the way! People down there, and I went right through them. I thank the Lord I didn't hit anybody, because I would have knocked them out completely, man. And that was my experience on it. And after that, by the way, I then tied my suspender, because I couldn't hook it back up again because it broke. So I had to tie it back up again, everything. I went on the yellows and the blues, and I coasted the rest of the day. Because
I can imagine.
I learned how to ski.
Right. So we've probably talked about skiing, something that most of the South Florida folks we're talking to probably have never done. But I think that's a reality of what I'm mentioning. That's something that's hard to do.
Yeah, man.
And you can become good at it. But if you don't do it for a while, I imagine that you're going to lose a lot of that. So I guess that's my point. And also,
I did. Now that I think about it,
I
also went to Tahoe with the wife
to
go ski, and this was another time. That time I went with the fellas. I was 18 years old, but then after I went with the wife to ski, and I did get her back for being late to the wedding.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because she couldn't ski, but I could at that time. So she would go in front of me. Every time she'd fall, I'd snow her ass. So it would be awesome. She'd fall, and I'd come by, and then just douse her with a whole bunch of snow, and she didn't piss her off. So I did get back to her, by the way.
Yeah.
So, now I said that's what you get for being late to the wedding.
So that's hilarious. I guess my big thing, like I said, I like Michael Dieter better at as your swing center guard. Honestly, at that spot, Liam Eichenberg, I want to see just like we want to see with a lot of these young players. I want to see if he could be a starter in this league. And so for me, I'm gonna let him prove that he can't in game action before I replace him. But I think you do bring up a bigger issue that I don't think we've talked about a ton, because there's not a swing tackle on this roster to me.
I know.
Larnell Coleman, I'm sure he's a good dude. I would not trust him to be my swing tackle. Greg Little either. And so maybe as a fourth tackle, but I don't see one. Maybe so. It makes me curious why they haven't been more active in that market. I guess everybody's looking for offensive linemen. Maybe they're waiting for the 49ers or somebody in the 49ers scheme to cut another tackle, and they're going to pick that guy up. But that's a position where if you lose a Teron Armstead, who honestly has had some injury history in his past, you're going to be in very dire straits.
By the way, Blaze Andrews, I don't know if did you see the one-on-ones on the first day?
I mostly focused on the skinny dudes.
Well, I walked all the way down to the end to go see them, and Blaze Andrews surprised the crap out of me. Yeah, dude, he held his own. That I was like, wow, maybe this guy, you stash him on the practice squad, because he was like, and let me tell you something, Hunter Long blocked his ass off too. against the Eagles. I was impressed, and I think that's why
he's picked it up. He was really slow to start camp. He was very quiet as a blocker and as a receiver.
He's a youngin, bro. Come on.
It's year two. It's year two. Like, let's get it on. You're a 3rd round pick, but he is starting to pick it up.
But new system in year 2. So it's another system, more requirements on blocking, which I think is more up his alley, actually. And I thought he did really well against the Eagles in his one-on-one blocking. And I think that's why the whole Gesicki thing, it's like, well, look, man, Smythe and this kid Hunter fits more what we want to do. Yeah, if you ever run into a freak called Kittle, great, but there's only like 3 or 4 of those guys in the league that can be that athletic and block at the same time. There's not many of those guys, actually.
Right.
So it's so freakish. And I think the Durham Smythes are the more common guys that you're going to find for something like this. You know what I'm saying?
Limited receiving upside, but really solid blocker and passable as a receiver.
So when you look at the wide receiver spot, are they keeping 5 or do they go 6? I would Hill, Waddle, Wilson, Ezukama, and Sherfield. You have the same 5, correct?
Yeah, that's fine. The 5, to me, they're locks. 5 is locks. The 6th one is interesting because you cannot go with the 6th. You have a trio of guys to me that are battling for that spot. You got a Lynn Bowden, you got a Preston Williams, and you got Braylon Sanders. I don't think Mohamed Sanu has done anything.
I don't have Preston. I have Craycraft there.
Maybe Craycraft, but to me, I think that Trent Sherfield and Craycraft are too similar. So I think you only keep one of those guys, and Sherfield's clearly been far and away. To me, at least in my roster construction, and maybe McDaniel's different because he's been with Craycraft. If I'm keeping a 6th guy, I'm keeping a guy with some upside. So I'm keeping a Lynn Bowden if I feel like he still has upside. Or
that's
Sanders,
the guy I like. That's the guy because I can use him. He used him again on special teams this past week.
Right.
And if you use him again on Saturday, that's a big tell right there.
Exactly. So to me, your 6th receiver most likely is not going to be active on most Sundays unless he's a really big contributor. And so you're keeping that guy because you believe in him, in his upside. And then if we get somebody hurt, then he can slide into a role. And so that's to me why I mentioned the younger guys. And also I could see a possibility where they cut all of those guys we mentioned and either roll with 5 or look in the waiver wire for a 6. If they didn't love any of those other guys, then it wouldn't shock me either. But I guess if I penciled in today, I probably would guess that Lynn Bowden would be the 6. And that
would be my 6 if they keep 6. And I think Braylon goes on the practice squad. I think they're going to try to sneak Sanders.
Yeah, I know people love Braylon Sanders, but one thing about training camp that I've learned covering this league, there's a lot of Braylon Sanders, just to be frank, across the league where everybody falls in love with the receiver. That's the position that everybody falls in love with. They're training camp stars. And then everybody's like, oh, we're going to lose him. We're going to lose him. He's not going to clear waivers. And they almost always clear waivers.
Yeah,
and he gets on the practice squad.
Now, wait a minute. Let me ask you, because some people feel Tanner Connor will not clear waivers. Some people feel he will. I'm one of those. I don't think he did enough to show off. And I think he's still kind of green. And the injuries also now lately. I think they'll be able to sneak him onto the practice squad. I don't expect him to be on the active roster, but I kind of like him. I think he's intriguing because of the speed he adds to that position.
Yeah, I like Tanner Connor too. I think it's just going to be hard to find a spot for him because unless you're keeping 4 tight ends and a fullback, which, if you're keeping 4 tight ends and a fullback, then you're going to have to go really light at running back and receiver because you're going to keep 3 quarterbacks with Skylar Thompson.
Oh, you don't keep Smythe, Long, Gesicki, and Carter?
No, I don't keep Carter.
You're going to cut Carter. Okay.
I'm cutting Carter. I'm cutting Carter.
Special teamer. Okay.
Yes, but I'm cutting Carter. Okay. I think at some point I'm not keeping 4 tight ends and a fullback. Your fullback's going to play special teams for you.
But you're keeping 3 running backs or 4 running backs.
So that's another spot. I can see them going light at running back, but the problem is
that's what I mean. I think they keep 3 backs and the fullback. That's your 4th. And then you stash White and Dokes on the practice squad.
That's why I'm like, if you go 3, then I think you got to have 2 backs on the practice squad because I think because of how McDaniel uses backs and because you have some injury prone backs, I think that you're gonna need a couple of those practice squad backs throughout the year. Because I don't imagine that Chase Edmonds, Raheem Mostert, and whoever you keep as your 3 back are gonna stay healthy for 17 games. So I think what'll help them is that none of these backs beyond Chase and Mostert have been impressive. So it wouldn't shock me if any of those guys get cut, whether it be Sony Michel, whether it be Myles Gaskin, or whether it be Salvin Ahmed. I could see any of those guys on the roster. I could see any of them cut.
Have you heard if Kenyon Drake got released finally?
He did get released. He has been released.
And that's who that's who I would get over Sony Michel.
Yeah, it would be interesting. It'd be interesting. I haven't heard much buzz for Kenyon yet. It's tough because everybody's cutting at this point. Not a lot of people were adding. And so I do wonder, especially for Kenyon, because he's a vested veteran. A lot of times you get these players who sign after week 1 because their contract is not guaranteed. I think the way, because Kenyon's been in the league for 5 years, and correct me if I'm wrong on this rule, but I think the rule is if he's on the active roster in week 1, his contract is fully guaranteed. So like you'll see situations where, like Philly did it last year with Jordan Howard, where they didn't have him on the roster week 1. They signed him week 2. And so that gave them the ability to cut him throughout the year without having his contract fully guaranteed. So I wonder if Kenyon maybe falls in line with one of those type players where he doesn't sign until after week 1, but we'll see.
Follow him on Twitter at Cameron Wolf. Catch his work there at the NFL Network. What are you working on over at the NFL Network so folks can check you out, my friend?
Yeah, man, I'm flying to Atlanta in a little less than 2 hours. So I'm going to be doing the preseason game with the Falcons and the Jags. It's the last round of preseason games. So doing some TV coverage for that. I actually just dropped yesterday the 72 Dolphins feature that I've teased on here a couple times. If you got some time, definitely take a read. I talked to 20 guys on that team, from Larry Zonka to Mercury Morris to Bob Greasy to Dave Shula, Don Sun, pretty much everybody you can think of that's still alive involved in that team. I've talked to and kind of did a bunch of memories about them, fun stories. Mercury Morris and Larry Zonka were talking hella shit throughout the piece, which not shocks no one. But I think for Dolphins fans, particularly fans who love that team, you'll enjoy that piece. So that's on NFL.com. And I'll have 2 other written pieces coming out this week. This upcoming week. One Dolphin-centric and one league-wide centric. So that's that. And then next week, I will be back here in Miami, and we'll have a couple days of TV coverage on NFL Now from 1 to 3, planning for Tuesday and Thursday as of now. So, yeah.
All right, good stuff as always, Cam. We'll catch up next week. Be safe in your travels, my friend. Always appreciate you.
Absolutely appreciate you.
You got it. There you go. Cameron Wolf. The Wolf Pack hits the road.
This has been the KSDT CPA Pro Football Report with NFL insider Cameron Wolf. KSDT is recognized by Forbes as one of the top tax accounting firms for 2022. KSDT CPA is a full-service firm that also excels in crypto. Visit them at ksdtcpa.com or call 305-670-3370.
All right. Let's see. By the way, I am now looking for the gentleman that just came by to say hi and dropped off a Tua card. I know he said on social media that he was going to come by, but a couple of people told me they were going to come by, so I'm not exactly sure which one came by. And let's see, what do we have here? What do we got? Oh, okay, Dan B, I'll be there in 1 second. Oh, damn, somebody. Oh, yes. I don't know if this was Finn Kane. It was John. Was this John Santos that came by? Let's see. Does that look like him? No, right? No, I don't think so. So John Santos says he was going to come by. I know there was a couple people that said it on Twitter to me or another. Said the thing is, there's so many social media things. I forgot. Anyway, yeah, I know. I saw the Page Sporanic one. You know, Gus 1388 is a Twitter fiend. And so I don't know if you guys can pull it up, the Page Sporanic thing. It says, "Welcome to your happy place. Get your towel now. Link here to buy and complete your bag with matching swag golf cover head covers, wood sets, blade, and mallet drop tomorrow, Saturday at 1 p.m. Central, only on swaggolf.com. And then it's Paige Sporanic with two beer pitchers, and she's in this lingerie and just, looking spectacular like she always looks. I got to tell you, man, Paige Sporanic. And then she put a video on yesterday or the day before of her, swinging the club. Did you guys see that one too, when she's just swinging the club? And by the way, for a girl that says that she has no ass, she's got a butt, dude. Because she says she doesn't show a lot of pictures of her butt because she says she doesn't have one. She's got one. May not be, a Latin butt, but it's a butt. It's pretty good. You got to get, Paige is, there's only one. Dan B says, Big O, excellent show as always. Waiting on my nature B will let you know how it works. Go Fins. How about 4-0 in the first 4? I would love that, Dan B. I think they'll go 3-1. Okay. I don't know about the Buffalo game. I don't fear the Ravens and the Patriots. It's funny. I saw a guy yesterday on NFL Network, and he's picking the Ravens. And I'm like, yeah, so Lamar Thomas figured out the zero coverage? Really? So all of a sudden, in an offseason, not playing football, he figured out how to beat zero coverage. Oh, okay, good. And then the Patriots are not better, and the Dolphins are, but the Dolphins beat them twice last year. And now they actually have real coaching. But the Patriots are going to win. Okay. I just love that. Hey, look, man, I don't give our boys the game against the Bills. I'll be rooting for them and all that stuff. They're not better than the Bills right now. But don't tell me that they can't beat the other 3 teams. That's ridiculous. If they got good coaching, Hallie or Paige. Only the wife goes over Hallie, bro. Okay? Hallie always. It's the wife, of course, because that's my one and only, but in the fantasy world, Hallie is always number 1, bro. The Lord made that mold right there and then broke it and just shattered it into trillions of pieces, and nobody could ever make another Hallie again. That's it. But Paige is special. There's no doubt about that.
Oh, it looks like it was Eric Simon.
Oh, that was Eric Simon? Did he chime in on the chat board?
Yeah, he was in the chat.
Oh, Eric, thank you, bro. Eric Simon, very nice of you. He came to visit us, and he brought me a Tua card and everything. This is freaking awesome. I don't have any Tua cards. Oh, and he brought you wrestling cards?
Andre the Giant and George the Animal Steel.
Wow. Andre the Giant and George the Animal Steel. Wow, that is so cool. Thank you, my brother. That is very nice of you, man. That is so cool. Very nice. Very nice. The best. I'll have this in the studio now. My Tua card. My first Tua card. Is this a rookie card, by the way? But is it a rookie card? Probably not, right? Is it probably a second-year card, first-year card? Something like that? I need to know. Probably not, right? Because if we have stats, so then that is a second-year card, right? That's probably what it is. Because if they're stats. Huh? Okay, good. So it's a second-year card. I got it. There you go. All right. Yeah, Panini 2020. All right. What does a Tua rookie go for? I should buy a Tua rookie for the hell of it. Because it's probably low in price right now with all the haters. Big O, any reference to a noodle on Tua's card? Yeah, no, there's no references. No noodles. No hate, no nothing. Cool picture, by the way. Looks good. I like it. Very nice, man. Thank you so much. I like that. I like it a lot. Let's see. Nobody's talking about the end of the year schedule. You know what? Let's forget the schedule, man. Let's live in the moment and let's enjoy the first week. Let's get ready for the first week. Let's talk about the first week. Let's live in the first week. Let's not worry about the rest of the month. Let's not worry about halfway through the season. Let's not worry about the end of the season. We can't get there without the first game. So let's not get ahead of ourselves and talk about the first four or any of that. Let's just talk about game one. And when we get through game one, we move on to game two. You know why? If this is going to be a really good season, which I hope so, and I expect it to be, let's enjoy it, man. Let's not talk and waste our time talking about week 10 or 12 or 17 when you have no control over it right now. And until you get through these first few weeks, week 17, we're going to know what that means by what you do in the first couple of weeks. Because, last year when you went 0-7, it didn't matter what you did after that. And some of you were out there with the silliness. Well, if we win enough games here, we can get back into the playoffs. And I'm laughing at your ass. So let's just worry about week one. Let's stay in the moment. Let's enjoy every moment. That's what matters, man. That way we can embrace the whole season and not waste our time talking about things we can't control and games that don't matter at all right now. The only game that matters is week one. That's the only game that matters.
Hey, yo.
Yes, sir.
The even number games really have me scared, though. I'm going to let you know now. All the even number games, I'm worried.
Well, the good thing is there's more odds than even. So you're worried about less games. So that's the positive. You're only worried about 8 games, not 9. So that's a positive in itself. If you were worried about the odd games, well, now that would be a concern because that's 9 times in one season. That's a lot right there. 8, yeah, you can handle 8. 9, oh, that's too much. Uber Beaner, we're going to blow out the Patriots. I love it. See, that's what I want to hear. What are they going to do with the Bills' punter, Matareza? I mean, did you see that story? Did you see our boy put out that release? And Benjamin Albright, let me read it for you because it's kind of disturbing at all levels. According to the lawsuit, the teen told Areza she was a high school student, and even though he could see she was highly intoxicated, he took her outside, told her to perform oral sex, then had sex with her. Then Areza took her to a bedroom where Leonard, Iwalko, and at least another man were there. The complaint alleged, and he threw her down on the bed face first. The lawsuit said she was raped for an hour and a half until the party was shut down. At the request of the police, she made pretext calls recorded by detectives with the men named in the lawsuit whom police had determined were present in the room when the rape occurred. Areza, the complaint alleged, confirmed on a call in late October that they had sex and recommended she get tested for a sexually transmitted disease. Later in the conversation, she asked him, and we did have actual sex. Areza allegedly changed his tone and replied, "This is Matt Areza. I don't remember anything that happened that night." So what are you going to do with that? What does the NFL finally do? Will they ever stand up for women? Will they ever send a message to players in this league that they are not going to tolerate or be accepted? So if they're going to commit these crimes, maybe at least, since they're not going to think about the human being they're violating, and since they're not going to care about the crime that they're committing, maybe, just maybe, they might care about their future and their shot at the NFL. But the NFL never sends that message. They never say, we stand by women. They never say that. They never show their actions that they stand by women. Ever. And so we end up in this situation over and over and over again. It's a punter, bro. I didn't want Deshaun Watson, and I don't care if you thought he was a savior, a quarterback, or anything. I could not. I would feel dirty rooting for my Dolphins with that scumbag being the quarterback. As a father and a husband, there's no way I could root for a guy that rapes women. Allegedly. I just can't. There's no part of me that would want to accept that. And so if your owner wants to sell his soul for a rapist just to win a title, well, then you can go ahead and enjoy that ride, because I'm not part of that ride. I want no part of that ride. None. So I'm glad that it didn't end up happening and that Bruce Beal and Stephen Ross didn't get their way. I'm super freaking happy. That guy's the quarterback. That guy is representing this franchise, not that scumbag. Okay? I want to root for a decent human being to be the franchise, face of your team. I want a decent human being that I don't have to feel, I can't imagine on Wednesdays gathering around Deshaun Watson to have to ask him questions every week, and then that guy is the face of your franchise. That's disgusting. It's gross. And I hope the Bills have a hell of a team, dude. Matt Arrays is not going to make a difference whether you win the Super Bowl or not. If you're good enough to win the Super Bowl, Buffalo Bills, you'll win the Super Bowl with or without Matt Arrays. Do you really need this? I know the league doesn't need it. You read the stuff that goes on, and it's just gross, man. Just is. All right. The Matt thing is a lot worse than Watson, and a real shame. They're all disgusting, my brother. No one's worse than the others. Violation of women or children or anything like that is unacceptable at all levels. And predators and rapists and criminals like that should not be allowed to play in any pro league. They certainly aren't going to be allowed in your law office, and they're not going to be allowed to work at Chick-fil-A, and they're not going to be allowed to work here at Craig's Inn, Acura, Pembroke Pines. So in normal life, they're not going to let you. Why is it that in the NFL you can get away with anything practically? Of course, you can't tamper. No, don't tamper. And don't keep money away from the owners. Violate all the women you want, but don't mess with their money or their players. No. Interesting. Anyway, we got to wrap it up here. We thank Ira Winderman, Manny Navarro, Cameron Wolf. C-Man, nice job by you today, sir.
Thank you. I tried. A couple hiccups.
You did very good today, man, for your first go-around. Very good. I like it. Sean Stanley, of course, the man that really cracks the whip here and makes it all happen. We're all riding Sean Stanley's coattails. That's what it is, really. That's what it really is. Those are the facts here. You know what I'm saying? So we thank you all out there. We'll see you tomorrow. Twice. Okay? We will do a little show at noon on Big O Show Cuts. So please go over there and subscribe to Big O Show Cuts and hit the notification bell. And then we'll be on in the evening after the game, and we will have some fun after the game and do the post-game show. All right? Appreciate all of you out there. We will see you tomorrow. Same time, same place, same bat channel. Well, different bat channel. Big O Show Cuts in the day. Have a great one.
This is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show.